and this one all the way to the jelly. This one, same thing. And
Okay,
this
so
one penetrated to the coconut.
who penetrated?
Like all the way.
What?
34.
What?
Went in here.
He does know that this person is unlawful.
Actually, so 4 layers.
Just the past month alone, this one
Questions and answers.
started
The
attacking
first
the
very,
motherfucker.
very obvious
He's
question
fucking
is,
around.
how much does it cost and when can it be
That never
delivered?
happened before.
Well,
This
as
past
I said,
month,
these are handmade
or this month,
CNC
was it
machine
this
in
month?
Austria with
Like
a
9
high
times and
precision.
9 times
I mean,
plus
they
in
got
one.
super
He got
smooth.
attacked
And it's really something
by
that costs
his
money.
dog right here.
The fenris itself with the attachment
Because
handle
she knows.
with 5 arrows, so everything you need except the bow is 1,000 euros. And if you buy it with the EK Assassin, then it is there's actually 1,200 euros.
And you never let me
So
talk to
you pay
nobody.
200
You just
euros for
stand in the
bow
way all the
and
time.
1,000 for the fenris. And this
What's
may
what's
seem
up with
like
that?
a mismatch,
You
but
know,
it isn't, because the bow is absolutely mass-produced split quality.
that never happened
and still
before.
a mass-produced
Valerie,
product from Taiwan, which I like. There's nothing bad on the Poland production in Taiwan.
Michelle,
I visited it myself. Very high
Aislinn,
precision and so on. But of course, it's mass production. And this is
you name them all.
small.
Dozens of women,
Well,
friends of
people
yours,
said that they're gonna ship the first 85
good
100
friends of
pieces
yours.
to us in the last week or two. So very soon, like basically next
There were never
week.
any issues.
And so in early July, we will start shipping.
That's very strange.
However, most of these 85 to 100 units are already sold.
Anyways,
They're actually all numbered, and so they're individually numbered and marked as first production run. But about 55 of them are already sold based on rumors and on an announcement of myself on Facebook. If you want one, you have to send me an email to the address here.
there's never any issues with the other
If you just
motherfuckers.
want the
What the
Penguins,
fuck?
or if you want the Penguins Pro set. And then I will
Anyways,
send you an email when
hold
the
on.
product goes online into the store, and at that time you will also be able to order add-ons.
You don't
like
even let me
this
talk to him.
lever here, like a wet-on site if you want one.
Savage got jealous. I was talking to her. I can't talk to her because the men get jealous. All of them. I'm not a lesbian. But even if I'm not a lesbian, they're jealous.
So I will notify you, and at that
It's like,
time,
I can't talk to nobody.
For now, there will just be a non-binding reservation. And if you don't make it
What?
into the first 100,
Okay.
then I will send you a notification. When further
What's the
units will be
secret of-
available.
Yeah.
The production one is limited
What's the
to
deadly
500
secret?
pieces for now, though, so therefore I think they will be gone in no time.
I don't get it.
The second question, will there be a cheaper version? Yes, absolutely. We are actually working on this. Originally was.
And I know you're injured,
but
so
we just started this production line
don't
because
worry
people are so
about
impatient.
helping me.
And because of CNC
Because I'm
stuff, it's so
considerate.
exciting.
Don't
But there will be one.
don't worry
where
about helping me
probably
to
only the base
to move the
plate, will
furniture.
be
You know
made
what I'm saying?
from
Because
aluminum,
you're injured,
and the
and
rest will be injection molded from plastics.
I don't want
They
you to
will
get
still be
hurt.
way and probably lighter than
This
one.
woman loves you for
Though
real.
this isn't
'Cause
heavy, really, but
have I ever
it will be
hurt you
lighter
that way? No.
and a lot cheaper.
Mm-mm.
But that might take anything between 6 and 9
Never
months,
would do something
because
like that.
injection tool making is a very
That's very
time-consuming
painful.
process. Then
I
worldwide shipping.
still
Well, we do ship to the US, of course, and we
I
also
don't
will
talk
ship
about it.
to other countries.
There's some other
However,
things.
there are a few countries where crossbows are regulated, like Australia.
Even
and I
Amy
think
was
also in
sobbing
Scandinavia, that is
because
often
of
the case.
your mom.
And therefore, some countries would probably consider
No,
this
I don't want to talk
crossbow.
about it.
Germany would not do that, but other
I don't
countries
want to
would
talk about
say
it.
anything that attaches a bow to some other contraption in a like T shape is considered a crossbow. I've shipped 3 prototypes of the instant Legolas to Australia so far. 2 made it fine, and 1 got seized. Customs declared it as crossbow parts. So therefore, yes, you can order it from Australia. And if you do so, it is on your risk if customs seize it or not. So you might want to consider that. Will this also fit to recurves and so? Absolutely, as long as they have
And
the same mounting holes, like threaded mounting
beast
holes
hooks.
for Everests, like whisker biscuits and so on. Then you can do that. However, this is highly recommended to be used with a compound bow because first of all it's more compact, and second because of the let off. You have so much more time to aim with the compound bow. Therefore, I really recommend using it with a compound. But of course, you can absolutely fit it to a modern recurve. And of course, you could, in theory, even attach it to like a longbow or on or something. I don't really think, but it is possible. Is this legal for hunting? Well,
Like
I'm not a lawyer, and I'm certainly not an international
I
lawyer.
swear in my life I
You have
never
to check
I
the
never
laws,
put
in your
clothes
country,
inside my
county, probably.
computer
By
bag,
yourself. You'll probably ask
and somebody put a gray underwear in there. And then your mom was accusing me of taking it when I didn't even know who put it in there. And I was like, that's why I was like this. I was pissed off a little bit. I had in the air like, you're like, who put this in my bag? Like that, you know? That's why I was doing. And it's like,
why is there no rear stock? Well, this isn't a rifle. It doesn't really
as a matter of
have
fact,
any
the day before we went to go get clothing from over there from Harlem's whatever crib, whatever, that she gave, and then I said, well, maybe she stole this from somebody else. And the day before we went to go get clothes, then the next day your mom said that was her underwear, the gray underwear, you know. So what the fuck? I don't trust these motherfuckers. How do I make people? What can I say? Since you know more than I do, what advice do you give? I mean, you know more about the Bible than I do. How do I tell people or convince them that if they take things from an abandoned building or an abandoned house and it's new shit, even if it's not new shit, but some
You're
stuff.
not a parent. You're not her parent.
But
She already knows right from wrong.
okay, so if they get in trouble, then you know. Okay. Because I swear to God, they all do the same thing. I'll argue for 2 hours that it's wrong, and they still won't. They won't believe me. But
but your credit card company or PayPal will do the conversion based
my
on
grandma, like
currency exchange rate.
her boss, her former boss, her last boss, he used to. He had money because he had a business. Well, he had money even in his yard, like you know, like scattered all over the place.
Typically to the US from Germany between 2 and 3
My grandma used to say that even if it's in somebody's yard, like outside, that you don't take it. Like it's in your yard, you know.
You have to buy it online. You have to buy it from Logan, from the store. There's no other place in the world where you can buy this, at least not for now.
I'm in love
what
with
do you do
you.
for transportation? Well, it's very simple.
I was watching you sleep, and
take this thing off in seconds and then pack it together into your go bag, and you're all done. So it actually doesn't take much more space than a clip. So
I did notice that people settled down quite a bit when, you know, that's what I was nervous about too.
No, it is not currently.
People were peeling tire yesterday around the perimeter and stuff, or whatever, and I saw Mr. Russell at the dollar store. Like everybody was pissed off about something, and like they meant business and stuff. I noticed they settled down this morning, and that's when you told me that she was back at Harlem.
First of all, this is a pistol scope. You need a pistol scope because rifle scopes have to be very.
That's what I was afraid of. But then I thought, well, maybe your mom doesn't know that it's not just a one person thing. You're gonna piss off other people, you know.
And this one also has a fairly low.
Never in my life have I had so many people just peeling tire all day, 24 hours.
X magnification. And it does help on long distances. It does.
They settle down
A bow like this,
by morning.
where will you ever shoot?
And that's when you said, oh,
I mean, you're not
by the way,
using this as a sniper
she was at Harlem.
weapon for any kind. You know, you
And I was
usually
like,
use this on
oh,
short
how relieved.
distances.
Nobody was
Typically,
peeling
it's 10
tire.
to
That got me
30 meters.
nervous.
And then the right dot is
I was so
really good
nervous.
because a cheap pistol scope like this.
And
doesn't
Russell
even
followed
have
us all the way to the
illuminated
dollar
crosshair.
store
It's very
last
hard for you
night.
to focus on the crosshairs.
That's what I was afraid of.
So therefore,
You know,
yes, it does work.
it-
And some people.
My
don't need
my
it.
mom used to say, you have to think first before you act,
I don't appreciate
because you affect second and third person.
They are also cheaper. This is
And
not too heavy.
no
Don't you
kidding.
tire out quickly when you shoot this well?
And
I don't think so. Because it's not that much weight. I actually can lift it like this here on the pistol.
like right now, I'm scared to go in my own yard.
Actually, it is so easy.
I don't even want to set
When
foot in
you
my
hold
own
it
yard.
You see, it's just like nothing. It's not heavy. It's lighter than a small caliber rifle, in fact. So therefore, you can shoot this for hours, and yes, you have to draw the bow, but lifting the weapon itself is not an issue because.
Okay. And I told your mom, what's up. The reason I acted, I said, not to say that I have the reason or nothing. I said, I told her I was doing it for the Lord, but it comes out as I'm ranting, like I'm bitching and this and that, because I knew it was coming afterwards. I said, you're dealing with people that are more than just a person. They're drug dealers. They're going to cause problems in the yard. That's what I told her. So I had the reason. The neighbors heard when she was calling me a liar in the middle of the yard. The Mexican people. That's why they stand up for me all the time, even when I'm out and about. Because they know I have the reason. She was calling me a liar, like in the middle of and the neighbors heard. They heard. And what the fuck? You're in my house and you're calling me a liar. Yeah? Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And I mean my house as in I live here. I don't mean my house as I own it. I don't want to own anything. I don't want anything. It's all garbage when you die anyways. So shove it up your ass. I'm not materialistic anymore. Haha. If you're still concerned about your house and all this, you're still with the demon. Because I'm not materialistic anymore. So there you go. Keep it. Keep your garbage. Keep your garbage. I don't want it. I don't want it. I'm not going to fight for junk. I am not materialistic anymore. I already told you. Ever since I accepted the Lord, I mean, even when we watch porn, I feel guilty like a motherfucker. But I can't never say anything because people get offended, you know? Ever since I accepted the Lord Jesus Christ, I am no longer materialistic. How many times I have to say that? I don't care about your property. I don't care about your house. I don't care about what you own. I don't care about your piece of trash, garbage can, vehicles. Keep it all. Keep everything that I own. Everything that I own. Keep it. Keep it. Keep it. Keep it all. I don't care. My mom was going to spend money on me to buy me a house. I didn't accept it because I'm not materialistic. So keep it. Keep it. Keep everything. I don't care. When I first bought this place, you know what I thought? When we first bought this place, with my money, everything, only 4 of us contributed. Me, your dad, you, and your mom. That's 4 people. I wasn't thinking about myself. I was thinking about they were gonna have people, help people that don't cause problems. That's the reason the other ones got thrown out, because they were causing problems. So there. So I was working for God. For God. And everyone else a demon. And I did not want these drug dealers here. I did not want these drug dealers. Check this out. Oh my God, you don't even want to know this. Mavis and the other dogs you were sitting here, I know you were paying attention. Check this out. Who bought the drugs yesterday? She did. The dogs were right here. When they seen the drugs that she brought, not the weed, the meth, guess what? These dogs here, they didn't approve of it. That's when they got all rattled up and were starting a fight. And they hadn't fought in months. There you go. Because she works for the demon. She is working for the demon. Look at it. I don't like it. They're trying to stop you from doing bad things. See how upset they are. Am I lying or am I not lying? That's the godly truth. As God is my witness. Yesterday, when she brought the drugs, the dogs started fighting and they started ranting about it. As soon as they saw it, point blank, because she works for a demon. And they take it out on me, and I'm working for God, and I'm trying to stop this motherfucker from bringing that shit here. You know?
I'ma show be a motherfucking massacre. Niggas nasty just
started fighting aggressively, and they were not stopping. And, and right now, see, look at them. They are speaking against weed, and they hate cigarettes. So. They care about you. Look at. Look. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to stop you. They want you to quit the bad things you're doing. So Because they want you to quit when you're doing it. Look how much they care about you. Look at that shit. Okay, this is what I want. That's all I need is a different. All I want. That's why I'm ranting. That's the reason I get mad. That's all that I need. That's all that I want is for people to stop what they're doing. That's where I began. That's all I want. That's all that I need is for people to stop what they're doing.
It's the end of the world, but ain't nobody believing. The ruler of the world is a demon. Everybody's sleeping, chasing the devil, chasing their dreams. And
all I wanted
attention to the season, Satan is
was
just
for
bleeding, deceiving, committing treason, and weeping, blindly appeasing this evil schemes and the selfish reasons. As the level deep, the link against the
to stop the
creeping, snatch your body and make your belly breathe in your weeds. Stop your legs, no more.
The dogs were ranting because she brought drugs yesterday. Did I bring drugs yesterday? Who brought the drugs? She did. She worked for the demons. That's all I want. That's where it all began. That's all I wanted. For people not to bring men or whoever that's going to do bad things. If they're from a church, that's different. But if it's from, pimping somebody out or that's not good. That's all I was asking for. So all I was asking for is for her to stop bringing bad things. Hold on. So I'm over here working for the Lord. So I wanted to, okay. And she's bringing things that are bad. I didn't bring those things. She did. They need to stop. And they refuse to stop. And I have been nice about it. I'm here just because of John. I'm not here because of your stupid property. I'm not here because of that. I'm not here because of your stupid, retarded property. Keep it. Shove it up your ass. I'm not here because of that. I'm here because of a person that needs help, which nobody gives a shit about, but property or junk that you're going to take with you when you die. You're trying to stop me from keeping him free of bad things. And if I leave, he will be taken to the gates of hell. How much you want to bet? These people, oh my God, are these people are drug dealers. They're selling drugs. They're selling. These people are gonna be. I'm not perfect, okay? So don't criticize me.
Oh, but you can criticize me.
But you read the Bible like you were supposed to.
That don't make any difference.
You're supposed to help me because I was raised Catholic and we didn't open our Bible and you don't explain nothing to me. And I keep asking you. That's why I ask you, what do I tell people? I'm trying to help them so they don't get in trouble. But please tell me.
You can't help them by changing their behavior. You're not going to do it. It's not going to happen. That's not how you help.
Well, I don't want them to. Your mom's going to get mad at them. She finds out what they're doing. So they leave everything laying around. Help me, Lord. The soda tastes bad when it's... Okay, let me tell you something. This motherfucker has brought drugs on property a bunch of times. Dozens of times she's brought drugs on property. Dozens and dozens and dozens of times. Something I've never done to bring drugs on property. Why is this motherfucker whatever. Not just her, but the other ones. These people, they all bring drugs on property. And a lot of them, she's kicked out. Her and Savage. Okay, that's two people that she's kicked out of here. Fine. What about the other ones? Never got kicked out of here. And they all brought drugs. Dozens of times. A shitload of times. And she don't say nothing to the motherfuckers. And I'm like the motherfucker that gave her a roof over her head. She even told me in Houston, thank you, Maria. You gave me a roof over my head when I didn't have a place to go. And she appreciated it. And she said thank you.
Yes, thank you.
And Ashley also said thank you. Ashley and Tristan said thank you.
Yeah.
And then that one guy, Hoover, that one guy, he only stayed here like 2 weeks. And like that one, remember that one guy from the warehouse?
David.
Yeah, he was saying thank you for just a few days that he stayed here. And like, oh shit.
Then the safety.
No.
Shift it to the front, exactly. No, don't touch the trigger.
Don't touch the Don't touch the what? I want to touch the trigger. It's because these people.
I'm gonna go put my drone batteries on the charger.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Please don't go. Please don't go. Do I have to babysit you?
Okay. Right against the shoulder. Exactly. Finger straight. You do it straight. Then safety.
Yeah.
Careful in. Great. Now, Maria has actually has to master a challenge.
Ay. Where are my shoes? I can never find anything around here.
Dog food can for you up there.
Steal my shoes?
And you have to hit it.
Yeah, because they feel good.
5 shots of the magazine. So you have to hit it. And the earlier you hit it, the better it is. And then I will try to do the same with my crossbow, which is basically the same model, just with a little bit different modification. modifications. But I will not shoot for 10 meters. I will try to hit for 50 meters, which is really right at the limit of the range of this crossbow.
Okay.
So it is possible that I'm not going to manage it at all. So it's a
I'm not so like Trump. They bring
challenge for both of us.
prostitutes.
Wanna
They
do it?
bring
Okay.
drugs. They
Here
bring
is your dog.
all kinds of
It's full
things.
with
Killers.
dogs. Empty it.
Killers, everything.
Remember?
And she
First
and
the
she
safety.
don't say nothing to nobody.
Not.
The only people she did was the only two
But
people that
nobody
she
will double miss.
said anything to before in the past was Ashley and
See, that was
Savage.
aim.
It's obvious because they come here most often.
Oh.
First attempt. First shot, she got it. Amazing. I'm not going to do that from this distance. I mean, but I will try. I will try to hit it. I promise. Okay. This is my weapon. My weapon is a little different to the one that Maria shot because I have the normal 130-pound bow that the weapon usually comes with because of the longer distance. I also have attached a short magnifying telescope. So this actually magnifies everything twice since the red dot
No.
would completely cover the entire target. So red dot from 50 meters
Storage
is kind of a stupid idea. So Maria, you want to try to look from the telescopic side?
You know where my keys are?
Tell us if you think it's an easy shot.
Huh?
You
Which
know where my
one?
keys
Then
are?
bring it to your
Oh, which
shoulder.
keys?
My keys. The necklace.
Okay.
Keys.
So can you see the target?
Now we're gonna blame.
Okay, I see it now.
Done.
It's rather small, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you just the slightest shake and you won't hit it.
Look at it.
Yeah,
The trick is you have to
Okay,
shake and in the right moment you have to pull the trigger.
hold
And
on.
actually hope.
Let me go
you know,
look
hope
at
that
the
you
yard and see if
hit it.
it's
So
possible
it's a very
there.
hard shot. But maybe I can
What?
use it close,
You don't have
otherwise-
to use them to get in the house.
Let's go for it.
Yes, at the beginning, you come on.
Where's my?
Okay. Wouldn't be much of a problem sitting down with a table, but I don't have that luxury today.
I'll tell you why you lose everything like that.
Oh, I hit the mat.
Anyways,
That's how I
so
have to do it.
shit, I got a big mess.
Number 2, not to hit. Three more. I'm starting to be slightly pessimistic.
Should you didn't drop them outside?
Huh?
What, baby? What? What's wrong with you?
No, one last shot.
Yeah.
Because
No.
of you, I'm not here for you.
I didn't hit it. So I officially declare Maria to be the winner of the contest.
Thank you.
Actually, it was very hard, but I hope that I came close. Let's see. We'll have the other camera on the target. Okay. There are on the target. But in fact, these 3 have been too much to the right, and these here have been too high. So why couldn't I have done it just right to hit it here? Actually, I have to say it was a hard shot, and I would have been really happy if I would have made it, but I did not. Anyway, so the adder. What do you think about that one?
Well, I think it's great. I mean, there are a lot of things you have to think about, to put in front and back, and then the security thing.
Safety. It's called a safety.
Safety.
Close, but not quite.
Yes, but it's really easy to hit the target, so it's effective, at least from my distance, because yours was shooting from much further distance, so...
No excuse. I was just not having a good day, hopefully.
Yes, but overall, I think it's a great thing.
Okay. Well, yeah, I noticed that you have some kind of trouble to get this shooting sequence down, right?
Yeah.
And of course, you could also see that you were struggling a little bit with the lock part mostly,
Yeah.
right? Since of course it's under a lot of strain when you do this. But then that's what I think. I actually think that the repeating bows are actually easier to learn, just because it's not so complicated. You just push and pull, and that's pretty much it. And here you have to do a few more things.
Yeah.
And also, a lot of people actually tune the safety because it is possible to convert this automatic safety into a manual safety. so that you can put it on safety, but normally it is not on safety. This eliminates one step in here, you know. But you're also effectively learning a little bit about firearm safety,
Yeah.
which usually is like a 3-day course or something. I don't know, because this pretty much behaves like a firearm. Like a repeating firearm. It's just you have to invest more muscle energy, but the shot sequence is kind of similar. So, anyway, the arrow actually is available in our store, and actually there is now a US distributor, from California. Actually, Matt, my new business partner in the US, is bringing them in, and he will start with the September shipment. So this actually means that you can buy it directly in the US, so you don't have to go through like transportation worries. And there's no hassle with the customs, so you don't really have to make anything special. You can just order it on Matt's website at gogun.co, not .com, it's .co. So if you're in Europe or elsewhere in the world, but just not North America, you can still order it from gogun.de. And if you're in North America, means in Canada or Mexico, or in the US, you can order it from Matt at gogun.co. Okay, now things are getting serious, because this is the FX in the arrow. It actually looks like a mixture between a crossbow and an air gun, which is exactly what it is.
Wow.
So this one actually shoots the arrows with compressed air. So as you see, there is this small little launch tube here. It's a steel tube, and it is hollow. And there is pressure in the chamber. As you can see, there is a little pressure gauge here. And currently it says it's about at 170 bar, which is around 3,000 psi. And there is an integrated pump into this thing. You hold the arrow for me. So if you want to pump it up, you swing up this lever here, and then you pump. And it's actually very easy. You just have to pump about 10 times for each shot. And once it's full, you can do 4 shots at full power.
Okay.
And how to do that is you open up the lock, but you don't completely open it, just only so that it's here in a relaxed condition. And you put the arrow over this and slide it down like so. Then you turn towards the target. Now you cock it all the way and push the lever back in the front. So it's close. Switch on right outside here. Okay. Then you take aim, and then you.
Wow, it's very loud.
And the power is incredible.
Yeah.
It's a really powerful air gun. It has about 100 joule. Now this model actually may stay legal, and so you can own it without a permit in Germany after the change of the gun laws, which is going to happen September 1st. So in just about a few weeks, where the normal versions, you can keep them as long as you buy them before the September 1st in Germany. But afterwards, you will need a permit, like a gun permit. But we are actually having this one investigated by the highest German gun authority, the BKA, because this is still muscle powered. You can't hook up a bottle, you can't hook up a compressor. This may actually stay unregulated in Germany, even though it's really powerful and super, super accurate. Okay, but first, I would like to show you how to pump it up so that everybody knows that you can do it as well. Okay, small explanation for the Germans in German. Also liebe Leute, das hier ist die FX in the Arrow. Da haben wir im Moment nur Einzelstücke von. Wir haben davon welche machen lassen, weil wir dem BKA ein Muster übergeben haben, mit der Bitte einen Feststellungsbescheid zu erstellen. Denn am 1.9. werden ja die anderen Pfeilabschussgeräte BWK-pflichtig. Also wer noch eine haben will, ist jetzt die absolut letzte Chance. Wenn vielleicht noch 30 Stück am Lager oder so, danach sind sie ausverkauft und kommen auch nicht mehr rein. Das gute Stück hier könnte es aber eventuell schaffen, weil wir versuchen, das als Armbrust eingestuft zu bekommen, weil es ja nur mit Muskelkraft gespannt werden kann. Hier kann man keinen Kompressor, keine Flasche anschließen, sondern man muss die eingebaute Pumpe nehmen. Wenn uns das gelingt, dann werden wir davon sicher Tausende verkaufen, weil das ein super Teil ist und ich mag sogar, dass es vollkommen unabhängig ist, dass man halt keine Pumpe mitschleppen muss und keine Flasche, sondern dass man alles hier eingebaut hat. Naja, ich werde euch auf dem Laufenden halten. I only have one chair, so now I have to do the unthinkable thing. I have to sit down while the lady stands. So the idea is that you sit down, and if you're a hunter, you're maybe in a tree stand. And now you swing out the arm, like all the way, And then you bring it down again, and you don't have to close it all the way, just so that your fingers touch the stock of the weapon. And then you pump, like so. And when you're ready, you simply close it, and you've done your job. 10 pumps per shot, and you can do 4 shots with full power. Want to try?
Yes, of course.
See? Here is the gun. Swing it out all the way, and then you bring it down again. Yes, a little harder. Okay.
Okay. How was it supposed to be? Okay.
One more time. Okay. Swing it out. Stronger. As you see, it's not super easy, but I think with a little bit better technique, she's gonna learn it quickly.
Can I do it with both hands?
You can do it with both hands. Like so. Again, with both hands. You swing out with one hand, I think, and then bring it down with both. So, yeah, that would be your technique. And of course, once it's getting towards the limit, then you would see that it is actually getting a little bit harder. But you don't have to pump it up all the way. Okay. Now close the lever with the flat palm, right? Now you've done it. You want to fire it?
Of course.
So I've put the arrow on it. Not yet cocked it. Here is your weapon, madam.
Thank you.
Okay, you bring it to the shoulder. Keep the finger straight and never touch the trigger. Now you have to cock it all the way. So bring your hand over here, pull it back, and now push it all the way to close position. Exactly. Now keep your index finger straight. Aim at the dog food can. Take careful aim. And then fire. Oh, I think it was a little low.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll try it again. Cock the entire thing all the way. Right, push it to the front. Take careful aim. A little bit too high.
Oh, okay.
One more. So now you open the lock. Yes, but not all the way. Just put it here. Now, go in for you. All the way. Okay. Now you got it. Yeah, you did it.
Yeah.
What do you think about this one?
Oh, it's very powerful and loud. Like my ears are still a bit like stuck.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah. But it's quite easy to aim. Like it's effective in that way, and
how do you think the trigger is different to the crossbows?
yeah, because it has like 3 dots, and
Oh,
that's
that's
why you
the
have
aiming system. The trigger is more like
okay.
because this one, of course, has a hair trigger, so it only has like 300 grams of a trigger resistance.
Mm-hmm.
This means you only have to touch the trigger, and then the shot will fall.
Yeah, very slightly.
Was that different towards in comparison to the crossbows?
Yes. Yeah, you touch it just a little bit, and then the power comes. And
But it was loud, right? in
Yeah.
comparison. Of course, it's not nearly as loud as a firearm. But of course, if we would have been shooting with a firearm, she would have had ear protection on, right? So this is really not that loud. But I guess that if you're just not used to it, and all we did is shooting very silent weapons like crossbows and bows, that is a difference.
yeah,
So,
it's different.
and it's also a really powerful air gun. This achieves about 100 joules, so about 80 foot-pounds of energy. This is enough to kill really big game with this thing. So, and I love it because it is so independent. Okay, so these are Rambone slingshots. Actually, Rambone 2.0, as you can see, because they have the clips to attach the bands. And as you see, these are the same models. Actually, one is red and one is white. You can also get them in olive green and black and even transparent. But otherwise, they are identical. Still, this one is set up for me, and this one is set up for her. The same slingshot. It's like one size fits all. So this means that, just hold it in your hand. The way how you hold this slingshot is, you grab it like so. A lot of people would instinctively hold it wrong, like you did, because they're used to handling knives. A knife would be comfortable here. But a slingshot, if we draw it out, the contact points are here and here. So this means this must be very, very comfortable and ergonomic. And as you also see, the Rambone has a handle that fits even a fairly large hand like mine, but also a smaller hand like hers. As you can see, of course, there's a little bit extra handle poking out, but that does not mean that this handle would not be comfortable for her. So this is actually something that I worked really hard on to find a slingshot shape that fits all palm sizes. So how does this feel now in the hand?
Feels comfortable.
Okay. Yeah. And as you see, she has a rather short, only one layer band because she's obviously a beginner. And also her arms are shorter than mine. And I have a triple layer band for really heavy ammo. That's why also my pouch is a lot larger than the one that she has. Because we're also going to shoot different ammo, of course. And since she is a beginner, we will not start with steel balls because I always have people starting with paintballs or some kind of dust balls and so on. Stuff that won't kill you if you accidentally hit your hands, which is not going to happen. Of course not, because I'm going to teach her how to shoot it right. But it's a mind thing. It's a thing that your mind plays games with you. If you are afraid that you might hit your hand, you're not going to hold it steady, and you're going to do things wrong. And therefore, we're starting with things that are not harmful.
Good.
The worst thing that can happen is that you have a yellow stain on your hand. You can handle that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is our training ammo. It's actually 62 caliber paintballs. And as you see, they're all yellow. So sorry, no colorful variations today. So as you already did, you put the slingshot into your left hand if you're right-handed, right? Because your right hand belongs to the pouch side. And then you put the paintball in here, and then you grab it very lightly between your index finger and your thumb. You can see that?
Yeah.
Don't punch hard because otherwise it will simply pop in your fingers and that won't be very pleasant. Yeah. So only very lightly. Then you stretch out your left arm towards the target, and you're shooting at this thing there in the catch box, this metal box. So you pull this out, like so, until your knuckle of the thumb is actually hitting and reaching your corner of the mouth. And then you're closing your left eye, and you aim with your right eye over the tip of the fork. So you hold it sideways like so. And all you have to do then is release it the right way so that it will hit your target.
Okay.
So the height you have to compensate a little bit, so there's a little bit of practice. But if you release it right, you will actually hit right where this point is aiming at. And it's going to take a few repetitions for you to get it right. But you want to try?
Sure.
Okay. Okay. Pull a little bit higher so that you're resting your hand against the top of the thumb. Right. Okay. Put it a little bit more. Now put it towards your mouth until your thumb reaches the corner of your mouth. Put it here. Right. Then you aim over the top of the fork.
So this might
Put this a little bit closer to your mouth so that you aim straight over the upper band.
Okay.
And then you release it. Aha! She hit it. First shot, she hit it. Okay, it was not a full hit, but that was really good.
Thank you.
Want to try again?
Yeah.
You're a natural, Maria. Right. Again, stretch out to the corner of your mouth. Aim over the upper band. And release. Another hit. Okay, now we're getting serious. 20 millimeter steel ball. single layer band set. Did you see it punch the hole through?
Yeah.
Through the can?
They work for the demon. They accept
That is
the
the
drug dealer.
It's the same solution,
Oh,
but of course it's completely different
Let
simply
nobody out
because
there
it's a
with
very
it.
different band set and very different angle. So it's a really wide range slingshot. Maria just asked me, what if you want to change the bands to something different, something stronger? Can you do it by yourself? Yes, of course. There's this little Allen key that we actually ship with this thing. You simply put it in, and then you can release this, you can loosen this screw, and then the clip will actually give you access to the band, and then you simply clamp in another band set, and then you just put everything tight again, and then you can change your bands. So it's completely flexible. And if you buy one of these in the kit, it comes with the steel balls, it comes with the band set and with the spare band set, because at some point after so many hundreds of shots, it will actually tear somewhere, and then you will have to replace the bands. But there is one spare set amongst it. And we offer these in standard in a single layer like this one, or in a double layer band set. The triple layer band
Because I
set
said no
that I have
jumping.
is for experts
Okay,
only.
okay.
Those people like myself will make their bands at home to cut them exactly to their specifications. Okay, so now we've done most of the things we wanted to do. But there is the full auto experience left. Have you
Yeah.
ever shot something full auto?
No.
Like a machine gun?
I don't think so.
No, you've never. So you think that you might have shot a machine gun and you cannot remember?
Maybe
I think it's one of the things that you never forget. Once you shot something full auto, I don't think that you will ever forget that.
I guess I didn't.
Okay. Well, maybe you've been in the army or something. But I don't know.
Could be like many years ago, but previous life maybe, but I don't remember.
Okay, but then let's get the setup ready.
Yeah.
So this is it. A full auto crossbow.
Wow.
As you see, it has a crossbow lid right in front. And this is actually the engine from a powerful e-bike.
Wow.
Actually, an e-bike that would not be street legal in Germany because it has about 3 times the power that you typically can have in Germany. It's called a street legal e-bike. But it is needed because the axle is actually propelled by this. And also, this e-bike has like a thumb gas control. So you can actually accelerate by pressing this lever here with your thumb. And you see there is a stack of arrows in here. And actually, when I put the rubber bands over it, it's down. Come a little bit back here. So, because this is actually the thumb trigger. If you press this trigger, this thing will keep shooting until it either jams or the magazine is empty. So, and then what you can do is you can actually aim it freely. Because you can just almost freely aim it solid enough. So you can aim it freely, like so, and up and down. And when you shoot with it, all you have to do, the only thing you have to do is it's pretty impressive, right?
Yes.
You're going to fire it soon enough by yourself. I want to use it to replicate something that is probably one of the most spectacular memes on the entire internet. The machine gun thumbs up weapon. As you see, it has a magazine. It's actually, this one's actually belt fed, and then it shoots out the lights. And I want to use you
There you go.
firing this thing to replicate this meme with my full auto crossbow. And folks, we're going to put this on her Instagram as a meme. And I would love if you guys could actually subscribe to her and then try to spread the meme as good as you can. And we're giving the clip into the public domain. So feel free to make your own gifts out of it and whatever. Okay, but before we do the meme, I think you should do a few test shots. So I'm going to step aside. And you just try to shoot like 3, 4, 5 arrows into the target net.
Okay.
Net. Okay.
Press here, and then
Right. Just fire. Okay. I have to move it up over first. Okay. Okay. Fire right away. Off to.
I give up on these people.
It's
His
already
mom
dead.
don't give a shit. She allows all the stoners to be here all the time. She don't give a fuck. I don't care if I go to California, whatever. I'm not gonna stop running the mouth about
Actually, as
this
you see, it was
place.
not so hard to aim with it.
Yeah.
You aim with it like with the garden hose. You spray the water where you need it.
Exactly.
Unless the whore is here on my property, she's a drug dealer.
Very good.
I haven't seen a whore personally, but if you see the whore,
So, how did that
have
feel?
her arrested.
Wow, that was crazy.
She's a drug
I know,
dealer.
you just like shoot and you don't think about anything. It's just like the sound of the shooting, and then I don't know. I don't even see like where it
Drug
goes.
dealer.
So
Casey
It's also
support
easy,
fucking
you don't
drug dealer.
Yeah.
Stupid ass retarded whore. Yeah, sure you care about God. Sure you do.
I don't know what to say.
Stupid, retarded, bitch ass
Okay.
hypocrite.
For our conclusion. Okay.
She don't believe in God.
Fun.
She don't believe in God.
Yeah, sure.
And now it is your task to decide which weapon that you shot today was most fun. So which one did you enjoy the most?
Well, of course, the machine crossbow at the end was, it was really impressive. Like, very, you get so many like emotions from like this powerful.
She brought this drug dealer here on purpose
Right.
because she's about drugs herself. She was smoking drugs with the other drug dealers. So, yeah, Casey accepts drug dealers on the property, stupid whore, retarded, hypocrite whore.
So we started.
Yeah, sure, she believes in God. Bullshit.
Which one did you like the most?
Bullshit.
I think I like the small one the most. It was a bit different from the ones we tried in the previous video.
I'm gonna be taking more video from this point on and watch and see how many
It's not
people
big,
are
so it's
using
like
drugs on the
handle, I
property.
think, and,
I may have some right
it's
now.
nice, but-
It's a nice toy, beautiful toy.
Yes.
I may have some right now. These people are going to hell if they don't stop this shit. These people are going to hell if they don't stop this shit. And I'm concerned about them because they're not stopping what they're doing.
When I hit the can and then the water was coming out, I was very fun like to have like a little bit of a challenge. Then you're very focused to hit the target, and
The air gun was of course loud, right? But also frightening.
it was loud and different. Looks very powerful and like professional. Like I don't know. Like,
They're using drugs on property. Get them out of here.
Yes.
Yes, I think so.
They're using drugs on property. This whore. Get it out of here.
What do you think?
They're in the driveway
Which one
using
is
drugs.
the most fun thing to see? I mean, you were able to shoot it. Maria
He's
was.
all stoned as a
Which one
motherfucker when he
do
came
you
back in the
like
house.
Please.
I'm not
give us a
stupid.
comment. And don't forget to
He
subscribe
wasn't like that, so he came out of the shed.
because we want to make her famous, don't we?
And Casey approves of this shit.
If Maria's Instagram is going to hit 5,000 subscribers before the end of the month,
Whoa.
the end of the month of July of 2020, then she's going to come back. I'm going to invite her back and we'll do some more fun shooting with, again, very different weapons.
I'm excited for that.
I guess that's it for today. So, thanks. Ed.
He was stoned like he wasn't before.
By the way,
He went out to the shed and back. But the stupid whore keeps bringing drugs on property. Stupid whore.
Hello and welcome to the Slingshot channel. Wow. The steam bow for the Excalibur crossbow. Let me show you its features.
Watch.
As you see, I have a visitor today. Eric from Steambow.
What is
Is
this?
that correct?
Yes, it's correct.
And you came here all the way from Austria
All the way from Austria.
to show me these things that we'll have a look and review later on.
Yes.
And I understand you are like an anti-Arnold, right?
A little bit, yeah. I'm a lot smaller. And he went to America and I came to Austria.
Yeah. So you are originally from the US,
Yes.
and you moved to Austria.
Yes. Long time ago. Yeah.
Okay, so the balance is fine. Okay, And you know, folks, when I saw this for the first time at the EVA show this year, I was instantly impressed. This is thinking outside of the box. This is innovation, and I love it.
The stupid whore is bringing drugs on the property. Get out of here.
Why don't you do a review about it? So let's go into detail. So I understand this is not your crossbow. You're only delivering a part of it, right?
Exactly. This is an Excalibur Bulldog 400 crossbow. And our product, our invention, innovation is this power unit. So we replaced the riser with this power unit to power the crossbow.
And I love that you have chosen the Excalibur because these are my favorite crossbows. I love recurve crossbows.
Yes.
But I understand this is the model for the Bulldog, but you're also shipping versions for the micro.
Yes, depending on the size you want and the power that we want.
Okay. And why I love this so much? Why is this thinking outside of the box? Well, I've been thinking a lot about using pressurized air or CO2 or whatever to auto cock a crossbow. But I was always thinking like pushing the string, just the same way how you do this manually.
Yes, of course.
And what they have done is they said, no, let's not do it. Let's have this thing in looks like in cock position, and let's fold them up here at the angle here at the axis. So this is something that I couldn't really invent it, but you guys did. And so, yeah, you have my respect for that. Okay, but the way how this works is you use pressurized air or CO2, right?
Yes, we use standard paintball power sources, basically.
Mm-hmm. So you can attach this one, or you use a CO2 cartridge with an adapter.
Yes.
Anything that creates enough pressure to
Exactly. Yes. 60 bar in the system.
Okay, that was 462. Wow. So I just shot the crossbow, and this means now we can get it ready for the next shot. And we simply do this by pulling on this little red button here, right?
Yes.
So pushing it in means cocking the bow,
Exactly.
and pushing it out means releasing the air from it. And you even have little silencers attached here, right?
Shouldn't be too loud. Yeah.
Okay. So, let's do that. I'm pulling slightly. Yes, you can hear the air escaping in. The thing is folding together. Works like a charm. And now I can very easily engage the string. So you simply, now it's engaged. You can make sure that it's absolutely centered. And now it looks like it is cocked, right?
Yes.
But it is not. It is cocked when I simply press this thing forward.
The stupid
And
whore
I can do this very slowly. Look at
is
that.
bringing drugs in the property.
Wow, that is silent.
There's no noise.
The stupid whore been bringing drugs on the property. The stupid whore is bringing drugs on property. I don't want her here anymore.
Okay, and
No, that goes against God's ruling. No.
and I see the original stirrup is still mounted.
Yes, we can also use this manually. If I run out of air and I can't.
Casey gets mad because I get rid of a whore that uses drugs on the property.
If I'm strong enough, like York, I'm sure is.
I try, but I'm not sure. It's a lot of force. So.
So I lose no functionality. This is a
I hope
standard
God
crossbow.
forgives
Now, it
you.
is the same. It's
I
an
don't know if he
Excalibur
will. It's up to
400
him.
Bulldog. And as long as I have air, I don't need my muscles to cock it.
And of course, you could also take one of these CO2 cartridges, like
Yes.
for an emergency. So if this is empty, you can still connect the CO2 cartridge, and
Yes.
you have enough for like 5-6 shots.
5 or 6 shots. Yeah.
Yeah, well, if you keep successfully kill your game with 5-6 shots, then you go home. I think.
Time to go.
Okay, well, it looks like it's superbly done. Let me get this a little closer for you guys here, because this looks like it's perfect. Is this colored or painted or what is
Hard anodized. It's hard
anodized? This means it can take a beating, right?
Yes, it's hard to scratch. Yeah.
And this is what people get. So they get all the black parts basically.
Basically, yes.
Uh-huh. The serum is probably the original.
Original, yes.
Okay. And people will of course have to disassemble the original crossbow for doing this.
Yes. Take the riser out. You have to take the string off. You need a
The whore been bringing
take the string off.
drugs on the property,
Well,
meth.
something that you need to
She's been
service
bringing
to
wax, meth,
crossbow.
weed, all kinds of
And then
things.
you replace it, and then
And
you can
Casey
go back to the
allows
original
that
riser
shit.
anytime.
Stupid
Right?
whore.
And you're also selling this for the micro versions of the crossbow.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Let's take a look at those.
Kick that motherfucker out of here.
Micro 355. Another Excalibur.
Don't ever let that whore in the house
Crossbow
anymore
riser.
or on property. I don't want that nasty whore that all she does is drugs, whacked out whore on property.
And it looks identical.
Yes.
Is it the same?
It's exactly the same power unit. You can just adjust for the limbs that we have to cock. We can just adjust the stroke of the piston.
Ah, okay. So you got one basic setup for
Yes.
all the products that they sell.
Yes.
And of course, I love the micro. I know that a lot of people say, they're more happy with the
I don't want that
micro version.
whacked out whore on my property anymore.
Compactness.
It's compact.
I never
it's handy.
asked to have that
Yeah,
whore
it's easy.
here
Handy
anyway.
brush. Yeah.
And here on the micro, you're attaching.
Why can't
the
she
body
go with
to
her
the
husband?
Yes.
Why can't her
That's also
husband
the
pick
front
her
of
up
the
and take her
Here,
home?
As
I
a
don't
bulldog
want her
for example,
here.
We can also attach it to the back. It's a question of where you want the weight.
Yeah, okay, but it's not too much weight.
Savage or somebody
No,
get
this
the
model, I
whore
think,
out of here.
No problem at all.
Somebody.
The Bulldog, it's already a little heavier.
It's a little heavier. Yeah. I prefer it in the back on the Bulldog, but this is a perfect package.
And the version on the Bulldog, you can also mount this on the other side.
Left side, right side. If you're left-handed, yes.
Okay. Well, there's a few advantages that I immediately see. Let's go through the advantages first,
Okay.
one by one.
Yeah.
So the first and very obvious advantage is that it's totally easy and effortless to cock this thing, right?
Yes.
Simply press on the thing here, and you can do this very quickly or slowly, but it is absolutely effortless. And this means that it is much easier for disabled people,
Yes.
even people that aren't as strong,
Yes.
have no issues,
Yes. Perhaps an injury.
an injury,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Or simply someone who is not physically trained.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, clearly, because it's effortless, you can do this sitting down, standing up, lying on the floor.
Yes.
whatever,
Yes. In bed. Yes. In a tree. Yeah.
Get the
right? Okay, so
whore
this is
out of
really a
here.
huge advantage.
She only brings drugs no more.
The decock is very
Ashley Brownlee, get off my property. Don't ever come on my property, you stupid whore. All you do is bring problems and drugs. Get the fuck out of here.
If I want to change this.
I better not see the whore on my property. She just brings drugs on property. That's all she brings. Stupid whore.
Anytime, recock it.
Yeah, sure you work for God. Sure you care about God. What a hypocrisy.
So we won't be running out of it soon. And,
Anyways.
yeah, that is definitely.
She brings drugs. She keeps
But
bringing
also,
drugs.
it is a huge advantage. You can really safely insert the.
Get out of here.
Because there's always
Stupid
this
whore.
moment when you put in an arrow into a cocked crossbow, right?
Yes.
Even
She-
if you have an auto safety and everything.
Yes.
There's always this.
Yeah, Casey supports all that shit.
You're in the way of the
Half
string.
of the length of the string.
Yeah. So if you put in an arrow in here, there's your arrow. Okay. So you can do this while the crossbow is completely relaxed. Like this. And now if I cock it like that, it's totally safe.
Totally safe. Yes.
It's amazing. And if I don't shoot, I don't cock it again,
Yes.
nothing has happened.
Yep.
That's a huge advantage. And also because it is so quick, you can shoot much faster. Since you never have to put it down, there's no fumbling
Yes.
with all these cocking aids and
Yes.
so on.
Yes.
And so I think this is a huge advantage. And another huge advantage, I think, is that not only can you easily deconfigure it like this and remove the arrow again, but what you can also do is you can now fold it together. It already is a lot more easy to transport
Yes.
this way.
Much less space, but I pull my two pins out.
Huh.
And I can put it in a normal, standard. I don't need a crossbow.
Look
bag,
at that,
standard
folks.
bag. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way how you can really transport a Talker crossbow. And you can reassemble it within a few seconds. Yeah, I think a lot of people would pay money just for this one feature.
Yes. Yeah.
You could take down the bow within such a short time.
Yes.
Another big advantage, I think, is that you no longer need any kind of stringing aid or any kind of bow press or something to exchange the string.
No, of course. I just take the tension out of it. It's unhooked the string.
That's the easiest thing in the world.
Yeah.
But, and it's really not easy to do that on an original crossbow because of the huge tension that you have in it.
Yes.
So I always hate it when I have to do it. And now it's also much easier to wax the string now.
Yes.
Right? Because you can simply do it like this, wax it, and then you're back in business.
Yeah.
But on the original one, you always have to kind of lift it and then twist it and so on. It's messy business.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is actually a huge advantage. Another big advantage, although that's not so relevant for this channel here, is safety, right? You know that we don't like safety very much here, but in general, it makes a lot of sense. Since I understand, a lot of times people run around with a crossbow during the entire hunt, right?
Yes. If you're stalking or if you decide to cock on the ground and climb up a tree, you have a dangerous situation. Something happens, you shoot yourself or somebody else.
Very dangerous. And this thing here, there's no need for that. No, this is how you.
This is how I would carry it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then maybe seconds before you want to shoot, you just do this, and you're ready to shoot.
Ready to shoot. Yeah.
And this brings us to another very important advantage: the silence. I mean, I really appreciate that you guys even put dampeners into here, right?
Yeah.
So that you can not even hear when you release the air. But of course, the cocking is where it counts.
Yeah.
This is so silent. So here is another Micro 355, right? But this time there's a little difference because when you look closely, you can see that these parts here are now blue instead of black. Why is that?
Yes. The question with a crossbow with a draw weight of 355 pounds is where can you practice with it? Where can you shoot it? A lot of ranges don't have targets that are strong enough, or maybe you don't want to dig the arrow out of the target. So we offer a power reduction that reduces the power by about half. And that means I need half the air. So a bottle like this with full power is good enough for 5 or 6 shots, and then I get, let's say, 10 to 12. So this is ideal for practice and for using less air.
Okay, so this means that the customer can then exchange these by himself.
Exactly. Just unscrew this, unscrew the normal to black, the full power ring, and put in the power reduction ring.
Okay, and therefore for practicing you do this,
Yes.
and then you change it when you go for the hunt.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay, and how's the power now? Well, let's test. That's what we're here for. So let's give it some power. I love this moment. Okay, now we can clearly see that the power stroke is limited, right?
Yes, the arms are cocked less. There's less of a bend. Yes.
And it's of course completely reproducible. So this means that this will now shoot with the same strength every time.
Every time. The end position of the cylinders is just limited.
Okay. Well, yeah. See.
Okay.
It still has a lot of power. And accuracy doesn't suffer from this at all.
I know. It's perfectly symmetrical.
Mm-hmm. That's 251.5 feet per second. Very significantly slower than the other one. So to exchange it, you simply remove the little arm here, and then you can unscrew the blue part. And if you take it out, you can see that these two springs are like counterwound. Is that a word? And why is it shaped like this?
It's shaped like this to reduce the noise that the cylinder will make when it's moving.
Ah, very clever. Nice reduction. And now this is the piston here, right? Okay, but this is not the difference, right? So this is all the same.
Yes.
So this is one and the same part, and the only difference is put this back together here. Okay. The only difference is this part.
This part, yes.
And this would be a little longer or shorter, or how would it be in the full power version?
Full power version is shorter so that the stick can move farther.
Okay, so it's this distance here
Yes.
that is extends over the threading. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So this is nothing that you can exchange in 5 seconds, but you can definitely exchange it when you are getting the crossbow ready.
Yes, you're gonna go train, for example, with this end when you go hunt, take it out. Inspect your crossbow, otherwise inspect your string while you're doing that. Wax
I can also imagine that if you go for small game, probably that's the thing that you would put on, right?
Yes.
Otherwise, bye-bye bolts. Okay, and you don't really have to over-tighten this. It's
just hand tight.
Like this, so that's sufficient. Great. And so this here is very easy because it is locked, and only if you press on this button, then you can take it out. There's a little ball in the end here, so you can see this is how it works. That's clever. Those are serious advantages.
Yeah, we think so too. Yeah.
Do you also have disadvantages?
I think the biggest one for people who are archers or crossbow archers is going to be the power supply. People who do paintball, this is all standard paintball power sources, paintball valves. So it's easy to get, but it's something that's new for archers, I would say.
Okay. But as you know, I do a lot of arrow shooting with air guns. So
Yes.
for me, it wouldn't be an issue at all. It's just the most natural thing. And of course, the big advantage is these things are no longer expensive.
They're not expensive, no.
Because now a model like this is $50, $60 maybe.
Yeah.
And then compressors you can get from China starting from $200.
$200, yeah.
And that's for a 300 bar, 4,500 PSI compressor.
Yeah. A big air tank, $100. You can fill yourself.
And this is how much pressure do you put in one of these bottles?
This has 200 bar.
Okay.
There's carbon fiber bottles that are 300 bar. There are bigger bottles with 300 bar, you get more shots.
So you don't really care.
I don't really care.
As long as it is over how many bars?
You need 60 bar for the system.
60 bar. Okay.
Yeah. CO2 capsules, 88 grams CO2 capsules worth 2.
Okay. Except in extreme cold, maybe.
Is that thing that? To warm it up.
But and so okay, I see that there might be a disadvantage, but there's so many ways to fill a bottle like this.
Yes.
You can use the hand pump, which is really inexpensive, starting from $40.
Yes.
You can use a compressor, or you can also, I understand, use a bottle for diving. Like
Exactly. You can go to a dive shop or you can go to a paintball shop. Yeah.
Okay, so that's not a big disadvantage.
No,
really.
just something new to learn, a new component. But once
And also, you can still copy the manual way.
of course, yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Okay, and then another disadvantage, obviously, is that it's a little heavier, right?
Of course, yeah. We about a kilo and 1.2 kilos more. But the crossbow is so light anyway. I don't think it's bad.
True. Yeah, well, it certainly is definitely okay for hunting because you're not running around with this thing.
Yes.
You're typically sitting somewhere, and then it's not so relevant how heavy it is.
And a little more weight can help settle the crossbow. It's maybe easier to keep it steady.
Okay.
If it's too light, it moves around more.
And then of course the biggest disadvantage probably is the price, right?
Yeah.
It essentially doubles the price of the crossbow. Is that correct?
Yes, it's milled. It's milled out of a solid block of aircraft aluminum. That takes time.
It's milled out of a solid block.
Yes.
So you start with a huge chunk of aluminum, and
Yes.
then you
Take everything out that's not a power unit. Yeah.
Wow. So that must take a long time to manufacture.
It takes a long time. Then hard anodizing, sandblasting, hard anodizing. That takes.
And that's basically because it's still a low volume product. Right?
Yes. When the volume raises, then we can find other ways to manufacture it. It'll be cheaper, of course.
Yes, but on the other hand, there are so many advantages in this, right?
Yes.
So clearly, I think it turns the Excalibur crossbow into something completely different. Right?
Yeah.
It's a completely different weapon now.
Yeah.
So it still has all the advantages of the Excalibur, but it has none of its disadvantages.
Basically,
I think it's worth the additional price, certainly. Right. Yeah, I mean, so I won't give them this thing back. All right. So, but if I want to not use the entire air system for whatever reason, how complicated is it to install the old riser again?
You don't need to install the old riser. We have locking blocks that give this the same geometry as the original riser.
Okay. So these are the locking blocks.
Yes.
They look fairly simple.
Yes.
I see. What you do is you're actually blocking the piston.
Exactly. So it can't move. So I need to pressure in the system that goes quickly if you want to. And now I can put this block in.
This is the reason why you got these two holes in the
Yeah.
okay. So the block in. I thought this is weight reduction, but it's really
Well, it does that too.
to some extent. All right. Okay. Okay, and now I have these blocking devices installed, and this means that even if I now completely remove the bottle, right?
Yes.
This is a regular crossbow,
Standard,
same power, same
power.
cocking.
symmetrical, same geometry as the original riser. You just have to cock the button.
Oh, right. And of course, if you want to disassemble it, and you now have the same situation as on the original thing.
Yes.
You need some kind of a
Stringing aid or something.
Stringing aid.
Yes.
which is another huge advantage. So what we will now do is something that's probably never been seen on high-speed footage ever before, because we have our target over there, and it's about 30 meters away, maybe a little more. And I'm going to shoot with my trusted repeating homemade crossbow that is just having a fiberglass rod. And this means that we're going to hit about maybe, I don't know, 65 meters per second or something with it. And we are, of course, using the powerful Excalibur, which has a completely different arrow speed. And what I'm trying to do is I'm going to shoot first, and he's going to try to shoot right afterwards so that I have a head start. And ideally, his arrow will overtake my arrow in flight and hit the target earlier than mine. It's going to be interesting, don't you think? Okay, now I'm looking a lot bigger because it's uphill. Okay. All right. And I think that worked. I think his arrow arrived earlier than mine. Of course, I had a big advantage because I had all the time in the world to aim, but still, my hit was the best one. But I think on average, Excalibur definitely won. And also, you can clearly see how much deeper the arrows penetrate.
Sit down over here, baby. Ah, my leg hurts so bad. Thank you. You want to sit down and eat with me?
No.
Oh.
Very easy.
With me and bonus.
So now we'll do some penetration tests, and of course this is much more a test of the Excalibur crossbow, and not so much
She's
of
on
the
drugs. I don't know what
cocking
she gave
system.
him, but
But what
She gave
we'll
him
do
drugs.
is we'll use my
she
trusted
gave him.
police shield made from polycarbonate, because with the
She gave him
exception
drugs
of
or
the brand
something.
of
I
our
don't know.
homemade shoulder,
Something weird.
no arrow was ever able to penetrate this deep enough to actually be a danger for the bearer of the shield.
I don't want
we will
that. That's
find
the
out
whole. She just
if that
brings
is
drugs and
different
he's.
if we fire it with the
He acts
Excalibur.
all the time.
These guys had too many arrows, so they asked me to use this one first. I don't think it will survive, but let's see. Maybe it's causing more damage than a field tip. All right, let's do it. Whoa.
I don't know. I don't want that whore on my property anymore because she's always giving him drugs, and he's always acting like that when she gives him peyote or whatever. So I don't want her on my property anymore because all she does is sells drugs. She sells drugs, and she's gonna kill him.
That's not enough because the
She's
reason
gonna kill him. I'm telling you. And his mom don't give a shit.
Also, the second layer of the shield, which is really holding the entire armor stuff and so on. And then it went on and crashed through the car door. And of course, the arrow is broken in a quite spectacular fashion. I think it's beyond repair now. So this is actually the first time I saw a conventional crossbow really penetrating both layers of the polycarbonate. So this definitely, I mean, if you're a policeman and someone has this thing in your hand, run. Of course, but now we have to wrap it up. So this is our Viking shield made from 1 centimeter polycarbonate, versus the police shield was 4 millimeters only. And we actually shot with the most powerful crossbows, even with my 1100 Joule crossbow, my airbow against it, and it didn't penetrate. I mean, it punched a hole, but it didn't go through. Let's see if this arrow can actually destroy this beast of a shield. All right, let's give it a try. Whoa! It destroyed it. very interesting because this Viking would have survived. I mean, his shield is wrecked, but the Viking has survived. But I've never seen an arrow hit like this one because it seems like this tip is frozen in time. Look at the way how it's jammed into the
I
shield.
don't believe it.
So you can clearly see
give a
that
shit
the
what you
blades of the broadhead have actually penetrated.
Don't give a shit what you believe.
And two of these blades have actually kind of split the entire thing apart, and it is jammed in so hard that it's. Oh, I'm not sure if I can get this out without breaking it. So now we're going to test if a field tip performs better or worse. I always wanted to find out. Now is the time to do it.
Whoa, it didn't split it, but it definitely penetrated the shield.
Anyways.
Actually, we have seen this before when we used the Bobcat to shoot against the shield. It did not penetrate. There is a bump on the other side, but it didn't go through. But the carbon fibers have kind of split and now look like a brush. So I'm not sure you can use it for painting, but definitely you can see that the tip is deeply embedded. We did not manage to, to break, to shatter the glass. And I think that is in line with the findings of Adam Saladin, who also managed to penetrate the police shield with a broadhead, but not with a field tip. Now we're going into the fun zone. So here is a pressurized bottle with some water in it, and we're going to try the broadhead against it. Okay, let's see, man.
I'm gonna ask you if you still have that
That was
number,
quite a shock.
so I can call and I can't find it.
So I what?
That phone number you got me for unemployment, I gotta call on them.
Fucking look at
Well,
it.
it definitely destroyed this bottle. I don't think I can show you now. But you can clearly see that here is where you can still see the cut marks of the broadhead.
I
And
almost
here
called
is the
today,
exit
looking I didn't call
of the
today.
broadhead. And you can really see even the edges from the triangular tip, and then of course the cut marks from the blades. And then it traveled right through the artery mat. Here you can see the damage it caused. And believe it or not, it crashed through the artery mat and embedded itself into the car door. That's a quality broadhead because the blades seem to be perfectly intact. Okay, now we're going to try to hit the target from 60 meters, about 66 yards, freestanding. It's not an easy shot, but I think with this kind of quality bow, I can manage. Well, I hit something. And it was the target.
I'll get tires and register.
Okay, next one. I'll do this all day long.
Not everything. I'm anxious because they keep putting me on hold and dropping the call. I can't move forward. I understand. You don't have any. I can actually, it's not my fault that I'm not out here. I'm not supposed to keep dropping my call. I can't move
Three
forward.
shots, 3 hits. Let's take a look.
Okay, so one was the other one was okay, and the third one was well, I'm not so proud about that one.
All my friends.
Okay, now I'm going to try the impossible. I'm taking the 400
They don't care
and
about
trying to cock it with my bare
Got
hands.
rid of me.
I admit I decided to take on gloves, and I have no idea if that is possible or not. I'm not giving up. I have to admit, it can't be done. This cannot be caught, at least not by me, with my bare arms.
Okay, now I see that you have attached the standard 88 gram CO2 cartridge, right?
Exactly. Paintball is a little adapter we have as an accessory.
That's standard paintball.
Standard paintball. Yes.
And that is for emergency, right?
For emergency, so if I'm hunting, I have my air bottle. I can take this. This is 5 or 6 shots, so that's actually enough for hunting. It's light.
And more for the power reduction system.
More for the power reduction. Twice as much roughly for the power reduction. And this is also a good way to store it. We have it loaded.
Mm-hmm.
Not with a broadhead in this case, but it's loaded. There's no tension in the system. There's absolutely no danger.
No.
And if I just twist on the capsule,
wow,
it's cocked.
That's a miracle. That's a miracle. And now I can shoot. So I can store this forever without any danger of pressure loss.
Yes.
So this is what I would do if this is my last line of defense, right?
So home defense, yeah.
Then you would, yeah, that makes a lot of sense because all of the other bodies at some point would start
Lose pressure very slowly, but in 10 years, they'd be empty.
But this won't, of course.
No, it's sealed metal.
And now it's good for 5 shots. So
Yeah. If that's not enough to defend yourself,
kind of hard to explain. I shot these 6 people in self-defense. Right, great. And now, of course, the power is absolutely the same because the crossbow is cocked.
it's cocked. Yeah.
Fantastic. CO2 driven. And yeah, I love it. It's so versatile. I love that you have so many things that you can do with it.
Yeah.
So, and of course, it's also significantly lighter, I have to say, than if you attach the full bottle. You know. So,
Of course, yeah. I think this is for the hunting. This would be the choice.
you need one shot, one good
One
shot.
shot. Yeah.
That's about it. So, if you're not hitting with it,
You know.
well, what I love the most, of course, is that you're propelling an arrow basically with air, with pressurized air, CO2 in this thing. So it's very much the same that we're doing in the air gun arrow shooters, but you solve the problem from a completely different angle.
Yeah.
And that's what I love. So these are a little bit like brothers from another mother, right? Well, I congratulate you. It's a fantastic product, and I think there's so much more potential for other models. So I think you'll do great in the future.
Yes, we have
I mean, I'm sure about that. Plenty of ideas. And, I mean, even I have a lot of ideas about it. Well, okay. Well, then, again, I'm putting the links down below, to your website.
Yes.
And I understand this is an available product.
Yes,
So
you can buy it.
this is not prototype. It's now finished product. It's available in the US, in Germany, in Austria.
Yes, of course.
And so, well, good luck with it.
Thank you.
Because I love it. And I hope you do too. Because that's it for today. Thanks. Bye bye.
Nobody's gonna punish me for screaming and saying that word. But where should it go?
Hello and welcome to the Vikings War of the Clans Slingshot Channel special. I have been commissioned by the makers of the game to make a weapon that is themed accordingly. And I love that because in the Eden area in general, there's so many cool weapons that I always wanted to make. Let me explain a little bit about the game first. Well, obviously it plays in the age of Vikings. It's a strategy game, much like the strategy games like Populous and so on that I loved playing when I was younger. And they actually told me, well, why don't you just play it for 5 minutes? It's free anyway. And well, I did better, and I have to confess, I spent a lot more than 5 minutes playing the game. It really is fun. It has really cool looking 3D graphics that are quite new, I think, on mobile. It's really a mobile game, although I think there is also an app for PC. But anyway, it is, what I really love is that you have all the time in the world. So it's not like one of these shooters where, you get easily killed, but you have time to plan.
What do you want?
And always
What do you
have
want?
cool graphics with it.
What?
I understand that sometimes they even have
Why you giving me that dirty look for?
3 million players at the same time.
What?
Really, whole countries. Well, that's pretty cool. Although I have been a
want my food?
but maybe I should. Sounds
Okay.
exciting. So here is what the makers of the
You
game
have to be
are
wrong.
offering for you.
But that
First of all, if you use one of the links down below
I'm worried.
to download
Like
the app,
then you will get 200 gold coins for free. And this is kind of the currency in the game, and you can use it to do all kinds of cool things. But here comes the thing. I've been looking at what can we build from that era, and looking at some of the cool gameplay videos that you guys sent me. I discovered this. Yes, obviously it's a mangonel. You know, it looks like a little bit like a cross between a trebuchet and one of the standard mangonels that use buckets instead of rings. And I think it's really cool looking Viking design. I will try to build a replica, a small size replica, being as close to the original as possible, because I want to find out if that thing would really have fire, since I've never seen one, not even in small scale. So this video pretty much is a tutorial also that shows you a few tricks of mine, how to make a mangonel like that. And also, it's a challenge, because the makers of the game really are giving away prizes for cool models that are done after that. And they have a Facebook page, and on that Facebook page, link below, you will find details about the contest. I heard that, you know, they are having a 3-week window, and the winners get, you know, really awesome prizes. I think the first prize will be 5 million gold coins again. And I think you can probably buy a whole country for 5 million gold coins.
Quit it.
All right, so here comes the tutorial and the entire build process. If you don't want to watch it, you could simply skip it and go right to the shooting part. I know, that's just a costume, you know, for Halloween. And this actually, I know that the Vikings didn't have horns on the helmets, but that's not even a helmet. And those are real horns. I'm only doing this so you guys can have some fun with me. So please don't give me all these nasty comments. All right, so that's the goal. Let's build this in small size. So if I look at this very bad printout, you can see a few details already. So you can see that it actually consists of wooden pieces that we need to put together. This here actually looks like it would be a winch, but it is not. This is actually the winch. And this obviously is being designed so that you can put a pole in and then rotate it. This here is actually the blocking mechanism for the rope. And the rope actually is what gives it spin. Let me show this to you on a better picture. This is actually a printout of a picture that I found on the internet, and I believe that the designers of the game used it to build the catapult. Of course, this is actually not as nice, not nearly as nice as the one in the game, but functionality is the same. Here you can see the twisted rope that actually gives it the power. This is the medium that stores the energy. This is the winch system, and as you see, it has a hold-back device, so it doesn't unwind. This is the pouch, and you see that the pouch has 3 ropes, and 2 of them are anchored on the throwing arm, and 1 is only loosely hooked over this piece of steel here. And you see that this is actually formed in an angle, so that you have an influence on the launch angle here. So that the more this is twisted towards the front, the flatter the shot will be. We're starting out with some plywood. Use the thickest you can get. The thicker the better, the more power you can actually get to the device later on. This is the side plate that I sketched from the original.
Why are you maneuvering like that?
Then now we have to saw it out and then make another one. You can use a jigsaw for the whole thing, but I like my coping saw and will only cut out the rough pieces with the jigsaw.
Oh, that's me. I want to clean my house and move that couch. I mean, I'm not asking you to help me because you're disabled, and I don't want you to get hurt. I never hurt you even. I never even hurt you. Have I?
These 2 holes are
Never
actually
heard 'em.
required so that the saw blade from my coping saw can fit through, and we can remove these parts.
Look at the baby. Look at the baby. Look at your baby. Look at
Quit.
Oh. Oh my God. It's
So this is the side view,
And I got
and later on we'll have to attach lots of things to make it looking like these are individual beams. But of course, sort out from a single piece of plywood, this has some integrity and is a super base for our catapult. Now we have two identical pieces for left and right, and now we have to start building the actual beams that connect those two. And ideally, you just have a little bit of wood. Should be solid, but can be any kind of wood. This is certainly bought in the hardware store. We will need 4 pieces of the same length and one that is actually a little longer. Here are all 4 pieces, and number 5 a little longer.
They work together.
The longer one will actually be placed right here, and it will be the piece that the launching arm is hitting. Therefore, we're recessing it a little bit into the post, and therefore we have to saw this piece out. Now we've marked the 4 spots where the beams will be attached to, and we need to drill 2 holes for the screws through each one of these rectangles now. As you see, we nicely sunk in the screws, and that is because we want to cover the screw heads up with some fancy applications later on, so it looks like a real catapult. It is important that you pre-drill the holes into these blocks, because otherwise the screw will split the little beam here. Okay, now we have all 4 of them attached, and it's time to connect the other side. So now our catapult for the first time looks a little bit completed. Don't glue it yet if you want to glue it, because you probably have to take it apart a few more times. But the geometry of the entire system is now in place. Now we have to drill holes through here and here in order to fix the main catch beam inside of the plywood. Note that I stabilized the plywood with 2 small screws, because otherwise it will easily split as we tighten the main screw. This is how it's solid. Now for the throwing arm, I suggest you go out and find a nice piece of wood like this one here. Debark it, of course, and find it, and it would be ideal if it would be hardwood. This is actually a piece of hazelnut, but you could take any other hardwood piece. And then remove the bark so that it looks natural. And it also will be a lot more sturdy than one of the prefabricated rods that you can buy in the hardware store.
They're staring at me like that. Look.
So we now have our throwing arm, and we also have the catapult. And now it's time to decide whether you want to propel this with rubber or whether you want to use the original rope idea that has been used by the Vikings, in fact. So we'll go for the rope just because we want to try to stay as original as possible. But of course, if you now want to use rubber, what you need is an axis. And you can do this with a threaded rod or something.
I'm gonna give you pliers for that.
Nuts and washers, connect it into the middle. And then you basically only have to use some rubber bands, attach it here and around here, and you're done. But with the rope, it's a little more difficult. And we start by drilling both here and here. Now we need to find some rope. You can actually also use paracord and so on. I just use this natural looking sisal rope.
Wow.
It's just only 4 millimeters. You can use thicker or thinner. It doesn't really matter much. And then you find a piece of wood that is a little longer than your catapult is right. Then you loosely wrap the rope around it.
Wow.
Like that.
Maybe I'm using the wrong way, but
And in the end, when
all I'm
you're
saying
almost
is bad
finished,
words
then you tie
really,
in 2 open
because
ends,
they don't
just like
listen.
that. And then you slip the rope loops out of it.
I
And now if you want, you can tie on each side so that it doesn't really slip apart. Just like this. And now the power for the throwing arm will all come from the winding
Unwind it
from the
together,
puppy.
and then it will want to unwind,
I said, in a nice way,
accelerating the
dozens of
post
times
with
before I
that.
started.
Now we need 2 pieces of the
So,
rod.
say the
You
whole
can
story.
use a wooden rod or just like you use this
Okay.
aluminum. Now the next thing you do is you put a little bit of string
I did not
through
say.
the loop, just like that. And then you put the string ends through the opening and pull. And then you clamp the whole thing with the rod. Like that. Okay. And leave this on the other side. Okay, this was a little too hard for the blunt aluminum rod, so I put a little arrow in, which because of the pointy tip is easier to go through. But that's going to change later on because when it comes under tension, it will lessen a bit and then will actually be glad for the extra blade. Anyway, now you separate
Maybe
the
y'all
two
took things the wrong way.
parts
I was
like
in the
this
right. I was
and
telling
put
this
in
person here
the little
not bring drugs on top.
launch
All I was
plug
asking for.
like that.
No, oh, I'm sorry.
Then now you start
Oh.
twisting.
I was like, yeah, what are you doing?
And you do this in an even fashion. Turn on both sides.
That's all I'm asking for.
And as you see,
And we'll be fine.
now the
That's
block
all I'm asking for.
wants to hit the block.
With the baby.
And by putting up more tension,
Cool.
you can all increase the power of your catapult. Let's check it out.
You're in trouble, baby.
It actually has
Cool.
kick. And as you see, you can still easily tighten this more. And this is necessary because in a different humidity, when the weather changes, then also the tension of the ropes will change. Therefore, it is necessary
Savage
that you can
is
change
the same way. Like
tension
he'll get jealous if I talk to
that was very
to this woman.
common in times.
He
All
gets
right, as you see,
jealous.
the
And I'm
power
not a
was already
lesbian.
getting a little much. With another wooden beam. And also, I think I have to strengthen the side because look what happens to the cockpit. Okay,
I'm
so
allowed
the
to
wood
put
is already working here. We will be building the braces from this piece of metal that I found in the hardware store. And of course, we have to cut lots of pieces off to make it fitting.
I'm gonna open up, talk to all of them. Why does one person?
Now we've braced it on both sides. I know it's not ideal that that has to happen, but as you see in the original picture from the game, it was not uncommon that people had to stabilize wooden constructions with a little bit of steel at the weak spots. So I'm actually still in style, I think. Okay, this works much better.
Wow.
It is not bending anymore. We note that we also replaced the aluminum with the steel nails because the aluminum proved too weak. Incredible what kind of force this little thing already contains. We're getting closer to doing our first shot, but first we have to develop and build the pouch. And as you see, it's attached to 2 hooks in the tip of the throwing arm, and a third one that is hinged over this bent steel rod here. So that is what we now have to construct. I found these in the hardware store, and I think they're just perfect for our purpose, hopefully.
Nobody recognized it. Like, oh, they're gonna come to me. Like, okay. No. No. No.
Now we have to construct the pouch, and for that we use a piece of leather. You could also use some leather from an old shoe or something. Just make sure it's not too thick. So just don't use like an old leather jacket or so, except if it's really thick. Then, of course, we first have to cut out a round piece and then hem it in a little bit. So with this little trick of mine, we formed a perfect basket or pouch
from the round patch of leather, and it fills projectiles like this golf ball perfectly well. Okay, it is done. As you see, I've attached the rope, quote unquote, to the throwing arm, and as you see, this part is just a loop, while these are tied to the eyeballs. And if I fire, then the loop will slip off. Now it's time for the first test shot. Okay? And it works, but as you saw, it shoots way too low, and therefore we have to change the angle of the nail until we have the throwing angle that we want. Okay, next try. Right. That was a major success, don't you think? Okay, one more try. And fire!
What? Who's in
I
trouble?
think this worked rather fine.
Who's
And
in
keep in
trouble?
mind, you can always add power simply by winding it up. Very easy job.
Get him out of the bar.
Our next job, of course, is to build this little winch. I know that we don't need a winch for this, but we want to make this like looking real, and therefore a winch is absolutely necessary. For that, we first need an axis, and I've decided to use this 14mm wooden rod.
I wanted to try this before work together. In the middle of the
Now what we need is two parts. One part is the wheel that actually will be used for turning the whole construction. And this is the blocking wheel that will make sure that it's not spilling off as soon as you release the force. But first we will drill the holes through, because that is always the first thing you do.
Phoenix. Oh. What's about more or what? It's not the women, it's the men. We should try to get it too. Even though she didn't know, she's going to that tight table. And she brings them out. And somebody was screaming. Like, horrific scream last night. Like, yeah. You made it work for her. At least you got to talk with him, that Brian. Last night. Right in the past time.
Next, we will have to build a release mechanism, and for that, we first need an anchor for the hook on the throwing arm side. And therefore, we need to saw out this 2 times, and then an intermediate piece for the middle 1 time.
Oh, good. She got a pack again last night. Oh, very loud.
And now we have to saw out the counterpart.
We're getting the children. You think that's funny? You think that's fair?
Oh.
Oh shit, I'm gonna go back to school with a son. Can't get through to that. I'm in climate line.
Okay, it's a new day, and our winch mechanism is finished. You can see that there is the rope attached to this here. Actually, these 2 parts make sure that this is all pulling out in this place and not going too far to the left or to the right. But in fact, it's not necessary since it's
And it comes out as a
so This is just only decoration.
But see,
And also,
your mom probably
as
didn't
you
know.
see, the
Maybe
locking
she's
mechanism
innocent.
is in place, so when I start winding,
The same day I got ran
is
to that
lowering
bitch.
the
The
blocking
poor brought drugs on her.
rod here,
Who
and
is
we
it
can
worse,
control
me
them
or her?
comfortably. You
I'm
can, of
screaming.
course, turn
I'm
this
screaming.
way in, but the original idea is that you put in the little lever here,
So
and
I'm
then
so upset.
normally with the help of the UN, you would cock
I'm
the
huge
weapon
in it.
like that.
It smells like they just like all of it
And then
and crying.
you put the
Oh,
notch here
it
over
was unfair. Then I got bitched up. The same day that she brought
it. And then we can attach a little bit of rope to the pin here. Basically, we want to put it
should have been equal. Yeah.
bang. So now
That should have
the
been
dress,
equal.
we have to make it more
That's not
beautiful,
fair.
more looking like the original picture from the game. And therefore, we unfortunately have to take it apart. As you
Oh
see,
my
we have
God.
now
I
scratched the
need a
wood
hot. I need
lengthwise,
to go to the.
like in the direction that the
I
beams
need to
quote
get tires
unquote
on
are
my car
running.
so I could go to
Then
the
also
book
we use
club.
the power file to roughen
So I
up
get
the
bored.
surface, so it looks a little bit like it would be hewn with an axe instead of an industrial product.
Ask the Lord Jesus Christ.
Now
Right.
this looks a lot
Did I
more
hear
rough
wrong?
hewn, don't you agree?
Didn't he say that?
I hope
I
that
only
once
have to
it's
deal with one
painted, it
person.
look very
And he
convincing.
repeated
And
it
now we are
so many
filling up all the screw heads with a little bit of
I
car
had to deal with
putty,
somebody else.
because those are anachronisms and we don't want to find
He should have told me.
And that is the result. Now everything is nicely closed,
Appreciate
and we can
it.
start with the painting job. And the first painting layer is black. And we can also then lightly spray paint it. Just make sure it's not too even. The throwing arm is already a natural piece of wood, and therefore we've just roughened it up. And now we will oil it with teak oil. Okay. While the paint is drying, we're preparing some applications, like this one here. Of course, it will later on look like metal, like a metal brace. And we drilled in some fake holes to give it this riveted look later on. This is our collection of reinforcements that later on are supposed to look like metal with nails. Now we have spray painted them black. Now we're using silver spray for wheels, and we use this rub-on trick. Take a piece of cloth, go into the paint, and then we're rubbing it on like this. And it will give it this rusty finish that we would expect on a piece of metal made by a medieval blacksmith. And this is the result, also on my finger. And now we'll use some two-component glue to glue it on. Now we want to make these wolf's heads here. I first thought those are lions, but then many Vikings probably never saw a lion in their life. So I decided that these are wolves. That will be the outline of our little wolf's head. And here we have our two wolf brothers. I'm such a lousy sculptor. Sorry for that. Okay, and then we start brushing. Now we've glued on the wolf's heads. Don't they look pretty? And now we have to make the shields. Okay, now we have the two parts. Spray painted the shield parts black, and here's our very cool shields. And now we're making these little torches here, and we use this shashlik piece and this round rod to make them. And as you see, with a little bit of paint, they're looking beautiful. And here it is, the Viking mangonel. Let me show you its features. It has these wolf heads in bronze. It has the shields that protect the operators. It has the torches to give it some illumination in the dark. It has the same winch system, I'll show that to you later, with a blocking device and the lever arm that you can use to wind it back, because it will be very hard to wind it back. And as you see, it's entirely rope powered, just like the original. It doesn't have wheels like the originals, because that's also the reason why the Romans called this the onager. And that is because it kicks like a mule, really, when you fire it, because of the huge forces involved. And therefore, if you would attach wheels to it, the wheels would be smashed to pieces in no time. So therefore, they may have attached wheels temporarily for transportation, but certainly not for actual operation. Okay, so let's do a test stop with it. First of all, of course, we have to cock the whole thing, and that works like this. Okay, we're almost there. All right. And now, oops, we have to put this ring here over the nail. And then what you have is you have this little pin here, which if you remove it, like this, then bang, the shot falls. Now, of course, if you had a troll, like the Lord of the Rings, then the troll could do the work for you, and you're going to need the winch. That's exactly what I'm going to do, just to show you how far it flies. Okay, then things. Let's look at some slow motion. We can definitely confirm that the weapon that the game designers actually brought out works, in fact. As you see, it works perfectly well. Good job, guys from Vikings War of the Clans. But there's one thing that is very peculiar that I don't have an explanation. In the slow motion, you can clearly see that the arm swings until about here, and then it stops and the chains swing up and launch the ball. And then after the ball is on its way, the rest of the journey of the pole here ends. Now let's test how far the balls fly, so that we can calculate the distance of the big size weapon. 1, 2, 3, 4. 15 meters. All right, let's do a few calculations. First of all, this is a 1 to 20 scale model. So this is about 30 centimeters long, and in reality, of course, it would be about 6 meters long. But now let me figure out. So this means 15 meters. That's a launch distance of 300 meters. Now let's see how heavy one of these golf balls would be if it would be 20 times bigger. All right. Okay. Seems like that would be 90 kilos. So this would be able to launch a 90 kilo object 300 meters far. In fact, it would not if that was only because of this opening on the internet. In reality, if this would be 20 times bigger, it would be far heavier than 90 kilograms. Because this is 42 millimeters and it would be like an 82 centimeter ball with the density of a golf ball that would certainly have a few hundred kilos. I don't know how much. But of course, also these scales physically, I'm sure that you cannot simply blow it up everything by 20 and then you get a result. This obviously has a lot less power than a trebuchet with a counterweight and the long labor. So why was it used? And actually, if you follow some of the sources, this was the number one siege engine in the medieval age. This means this was what you found on every battleground where someone would try to raid a castle. And that has reasons, because if you compare it to a trebuchet,
It's so
this
funny to get paid already.
but it is a lot lighter. It takes all its power from the twisted rope and not from the super heavy counterweight that you have to bring over with horses and carts.
That's the number I need from
But also, it is a lot easier to install right on site. So this can be made from basic wood, as you see. And therefore, it was far easier to construct. It did take a lot less wood. So did the Vikings have any of these? We don't know that because it's made from wood and that obviously doesn't last very long. It is also debatable if they really had enough room on their ships to bring it to some places. But there are sources that says during the attack of the Vikings against Paris, there was engines like this on both sides. It is debatable whether that is true or was just an error in translation. But let me put it otherwise.
Don't worry, even if
This
it's such a
technology
billion
existed in the time
snakes.
of the Romans, and it is well possible that they would have made sacrifice or captured
You can't have them though.
So it is perfectly
You don't deserve a
viable
tip.
that the game designers included it into the game. So I hope you like this, and good luck with the contest. Because that's it for today. Thanks and bye bye.
You doing bumpers?
My mom used to get mad because we would complain about each other, me and my brother. I do it. I was like, how come you don't say nothing to him? Or how come you don't say nothing to her? You know? And my mom would get mad because she said, I don't like you guys saying that. You have to worry about yourself, not about anybody else. You know?
Yeah.
That's what my mom would always say. Oh, I just hate that because my brother never got in trouble. Dude. I swear to God, I'm a magnet for that.
You ever think we can bring out yourself?
God, he never got in trouble, even if he was at fault. But you know what? Because that was her favorite. Believe it or not, no, this is for real. My brother was the favorite one. You know how that goes. Weren't you the favorite one? Yeah, you were.
No, you were.
Oh my God, thank you.
welcome to the Big Truck Channel to another Viking episode. The game has just been updated. I think it's now even more cool. Now you really can choose how you want to fight. You want to do this by brutal force, by attacking everyone, or by diplomacy. Everybody, I think, has preferences. My preference is brutal force. I admit it. Remember the 90s and the
This Tesla automobile, with its abnormal shape and dystopian appearance, could revolutionize the way people drive motor vehicles. So let's take a look at some interesting facts about Elon Musk's latest brainchild. Before we dive into it, make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy it. Subscribe and hit the bell button to subscribe to Wild Up. Don't be fooled by the roaring Cybertruck or the industrialized design. This is no ordinary pickup vehicle. The truck, according to Musk, can travel like a Lamborghini and haul like a Freightliner, and it meets all of the criteria set by Tesla. With an 800 horsepower engine and the ability to go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just over 3 seconds, the Cybertruck is unquestionably a powerful vehicle, and it will provide stiff competition for other trucks on the market. But what exactly distinguishes the Cybertruck from the rest of the number of 9 new exoskeletons that will be used by the Cybertruck? It's a well-known fact that the Cybertruck and the Starship spaceship will both be equipped with stainless steel exoskeletons. Even though space is very hot and cold, the spaceship is built to endure both extremes of temperature. When it comes to the Starship, the 304 stainless steel alloy was initially chosen for its strength and durability. However, Musk later tweeted that some parts of the Starship would include 304L steel, which would be better suited to the temperatures in space. And with the Cybertruck using the same material, you can expect it to be sturdier and much more damage resistant than most trucks on the road. When it comes to the interior design, Tesla has a distinct sense of flair, and the Cybertruck is no exception. The blank dashboard and small steering wheel, combined with the tablet interface, give the truck the trademark Tesla aesthetic. At first glance, the dashboard appears to be manufactured from some sort of marble, but appearances can be deceiving, as the dashboard is made out of compressed paper. Not only does this reduce cost, but it also keeps in line with Tesla's commitment to sustainability. Given what we've already talked about Tesla's new exoskeleton and how it will be constructed from the same material as a Starship aircraft, it shouldn't come as a surprise that the truck will be able to withstand 9mm ammunition, which is commonly used in both handguns and machine guns alike. Although the vehicle was shown, Musk had design head Franz von Holzhausen come on stage and smash a sledgehammer into the Cybertruck to make the point that while most conventional vehicles aren't precisely bulletproof, the Cybertruck is. To pre-order this futuristic truck, customers must pay $100. The truck's final price is estimated to be between $39,000, $49,000, or $69,000, plus an additional $7,000 for the self-driving add-on. Tesla has received more than 1 million pre-orders for the truck without promoting it at all. Even though many owners have not yet paid in full, we anticipate that some of these pre-orders will be revoked later on. The public was shown a video where the Cybertruck competed against the Ford F-150 in a tug of war, which surprised many since Ford has serious pulling power. This also gave us an idea of what Elon Musk is up to. Even while Musk did not answer concerns about whether the truck's axle would touch the ground when driving over a hill, the truck's lens indicates that it would be low, making it even more difficult for it to drive off-road. When we witness the vehicle moving somewhere other than the road itself, this argument will be resolved. Number 2, acceleration. When compared to a traditional combustion engine, the acceleration power of this truck is significantly underrated, considering it is a pickup truck with the electric motors that display strong torque in the performance of practically 0 rotations per minute. This is in contrast to a traditional combustion engine, which requires a few seconds to become acclimated to the rotation before producing significant driving power. In a statement, Tesla claimed that the two-wheel drive model would accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in an incredible 6.5 seconds. But it's the three-wheel drive Tesla that's the real showstopper, with volumes of reaching 60 miles per hour in just 2.9 seconds. The claims Musk has made about the Cybertruck seem almost too good to be true. Tesla's single motor rear-wheel drive base model has a towing capacity of £7,500, which is a monstrous amount. And this figure can be increased to £14,000 with the triple motor range-topping model. For every model, Tesla has maintained a payload of £3,500. To put this into perspective, the F-100 and the Ford F-150 have a total capacity of £13,200.
Look how she licked on it. But look how shiny it is.
According to the most recent
This is better than you.
Tesla has already received over 1 million Cybertruck orders. The Cybertruck is one of the most popular electric vehicles ever announced, and it continues to receive a large number of reservations and attention from people all over the world. The interest is strong, and it appears to be hard enough to support the establishment of a manufacturing plant in Austin, Texas.
You haven't
If
even watched
you're
it to
worried
watch.
about what would happen if there
She's
was
gonna be my new
apocalypse,
dishwasher, let me tell you.
Let her watch this.
Feel like an apex predator.
And you would use it afterwards.
Yeah, let her watch that.
But you would reuse it though? Oh. Look at you staring at me. Come here, Mavis.
So we can
Wash
all
it up.
What's this? Could I please get the cheddar loaded cheeseburger combo?
Wait, I know that voice. Danny.
Welcome to Honest. Today we're talking about the 17 advantages Lucid Motors has over Tesla. Let me just say right off the bat, we're not anti-Tesla. But as the first major EV manufacturer and the most successful, Tesla is the litmus test against which all other EVs are measured. They are the standard bearer. I know Tesla fans don't like it, but until electric vehicles become more commonplace, virtually all new EVs will be compared to Tesla, and an EV's success or failure will be based on how it compares to Tesla. So let's be civil and grown up adults. And before anyone says it, I am fully aware that Tesla has tons of advantages over Lucid, but that's not what this video is about. And to be clear, all of the advantages we'll discuss in this video are based on facts, but they're based on our personal and honest opinion of those facts. You may disagree with our interpretation of the facts, and that's absolutely fine. With all that being said, and without getting emotional or making this personal, let's look at the 17 advantages Lucid Motors has over Tesla.
Luciferian. You know what Luciferian is? You know what
Advantage 1.
I don't want to
Better
tell you what a
user
Luciferian
interface.
is.
So let's be honest. Tesla didn't put a ton of effort into the interior user experience. They stuck a huge tablet to the dashboard and called it a day. And they put the majority of the controls and settings in that tablet, which means drivers must use the tablet to get to things like windshield wipers, which requires an extra step that most people aren't accustomed to. In most cars, there's a stalk attached to the steering wheel. And without taking your eyes off the road, you can use that stalk.
Look at what you guys heard.
Now with Tesla,
Did you steal this?
yes,
You stole
drivers
it.
set the wipers
What was
to
it in your
automatic,
shed?
I saw you
meaning the
steal it.
wipers activate automatically.
Where did you steal it
I
from?
saw you steal it.
However, some Tesla owners don't like automatic mode because it sometimes works sporadically, or the wiping speeds are not what they want them to be, or automatic mode doesn't work at all. For people who want to manually
I saw
control
you
their
steal
wipers in a Tesla, they must look at the tablet,
Bring me a
push
drink.
down and to the right, meaning drivers have to take their
Why
eyes
do
off
we
the
know what
road.
all these
They
speeds
must
are?
Bring me a
then tap
drink.
the wiper button,
A
which
what?
brings up
A
a
drink.
menu. When that menu pops
Oh.
up, the
Well,
driver
let me take a sip for some of my
another
drink.
button, which
Okay.
then brings up options for
Is that a lot?
wiper speeds, along with the
Um,
automatic option that I
for now.
previously mentioned. From those
I already
options,
drank
the
it.
driver can then make a
Give me a
selection. So
I'm gonna
if
go
you want to
shopping,
manually
okay?
control your wipers, it requires
Get out of here,
3
get out of here.
steps. And
Don't be mean
those
to her.
3 steps require the driver to take his or her
Don't be
eyes
mean to
off
her
the
either.
road, potentially while driving in the rain or at night, or both. Not ideal. Now, it's important to note that the wipers can also be controlled with voice commands. However, not all Tesla drivers utilize
But
this option
you know
because
what
they feel
that
like
means,
using voice
right?
controls
Here's
to
your
change
drink.
wiper speeds is too slow for their liking. Or they fear they may trip
You know
over
what
their
that
words
means,
or
right?
into the wrong voice
Luciferian?
commands of a sudden and unexpected downpour.
Luciferian.
So, voice controls may be technically safer than
Oh, I used to hate when my grandma used to say that.
It's still
My
not
grandma,
the most
her mom was named
Tesla's blind spot monitoring system is also just like most things in a Tesla.
It wasn't Lucy,
blind
but
spot alerts occur within.
I forgot what it was. But
there's a car in the driver's
for
blind
short, they would
spot,
call her
the tablet
Lucy.
will
That's what my
virtually
grandma
show
told me.
the location of the car
That her mom, they used to call her Lucy.
And the dividing
You know?
line will turn red on the
And
side screen.
I used to freak
But
out
the
because
car
my
will
grandma
not
was
chime
like,
unless the driver actually attempts to change lanes.
it
to
reminds
the
you
car
of
in their
Lucifer,
blind
you know?
spot. However, there are no lights or any other.
So you don't want to be
mechanisms
called that, right?
inside the mirrors like most other cars. And many Tesla owners have complained about
Oh,
this because
shit, I thought this was a dildo.
when the
Look at
driver turns on the blinker to change lanes, the car does
For a
not
minute
chime
when I
unless
saw-
the driver actually attempts to change lanes, which means that the driver is forced
Baby,
to
look.
down and
What's
to the
wrong
blind
with you?
spot monitor.
What's
And
wrong
it's
with you when I said that, huh?
particularly awkward for a driver to be switching
What's
lanes to the
wrong with
left and
you?
have to look to the right at the tablet to see what's in his or her blind spot. Most other cars have blind spot alert lights on the side in the direction.
Ooh, I almost fell.
And
Is this a dildo or what?
also chime when the blinker is on and there's a car.
No, this is to clog your.
Whether the driver is actually in the middle of changing lanes.
No,
or
I
not.
think this is a
And I
tampon.
also have to mention the fact that some Tesla models do not have
A show for
specifically
what?
the Model
I don't do
3
those
and
kind of
Model Y.
things.
And they do not feature
I
a heads-up
don't.
display on the windshield either.
Okay,
So again, people who drive these Tesla models must look at the tablet to see how
I'm trying to keep you safe,
The
okay?
point of all of this is that the majority of Tesla's controls and functions
Is this
are
yours?
embedded within the center tablet.
So you go steal for a living. That's not good. That goes against God's 10 commandments.
No,
Everybody.
that's for raping.
No, you shouldn't be stealing though.
Not for stealing, I told you it's for raping.
Well, that's against God's ruling too.
Oh, it is?
Yes, it's against God's
Well,
ruling.
I didn't know, so.
I'm just trying to keep you safe. You know?
User interface. It appears that their
I'm trying to
priority was to be
protect
unique
and serve
and sleek
because
and
God
effortless.
put you under my
They
care.
sacrifice functionality.
And it says in the Bible that
some
you should
cases
take care of
safety
somebody.
to do so.
Somebody was laughing about it. I think it was Harlem or one of them.
Appears to be
Was
superior
like
based on
making
the
fun
fact
of,
that
making
everything
a
isn't
fucking
crammed
joke
into a
about
tablet.
it.
From what they've shown thus far, it appears that Lucid has
That you
focused
should
on
have
not
a-
just sleek design, but also functionality. Now, to be
Oh,
fair, the
kind of
Lucid
insinuating
Air
that
has
if you don't believe in God, that's like being sick.
Yeah, I don't care.
That's like, and he says, ha ha ha, that means that you should take care of them in goodness or in health, meaning that it's believing in the demon is correlated with your health. You know what I'm saying?
And based on
So
that,
people say, yeah, you should take care of them in
it's pretty
goodness
apparent
and
that the
health.
Lucid Air has some obvious advantages over Tesla. And those advantages are apparent, even without having any actual
should take care
production
of my
cars
goodness or
relevant
its
to
health.
tests. Here are a few excerpts from that presentation.
Every day I walk through this world thinking, sometimes
Did I should take care of your goodness or in health? Oh, scary movie? See, I don't even watch that no more. Scary movies? Shit and music?
you can't be capable.
I wouldn't,
Again.
I don't know. I don't watch scary movies anymore
No, why?
because I've had enough of the experience.
Why?
Introducing the first ever 18-4 lineup. Premium and capable. That's professional grade from GMC.
Our drivers expect technology to aid, not distract. That's why we design a system that keeps everything that works about the traditional car interface, like a beautiful steering wheel, sculpted physical controls, and tactile touch. We've paired it with everything that needed to be fixed. Let's start with the displays. We've created a 34-inch floating glass instrument cluster display. It's paired with a lower console display. We call it cockpit and pilot panel. What really sets us apart is the form factor itself. Everything is contoured to the driver, to optimize ergonomic reach. So I have a really good touch range for every screen inside the car. At the end of the day, we shouldn't be making a tablet on wheels. It's important that a driver has access to everything the system can do without being distracted. We've created a logical grouping and standards in our controls. Starting at the left, we have functions that are visible at all times. Everything a driver needs to stay focused on the road. In the center, we have a minimal yet warm digital cluster that takes advantage of the flexibility of a digital display, but doesn't clutter with too much. Moving right, we have media, navigation, communications, and a home screen. We strive to make all systems of displays totally seamless. They all look the same, and they all work the same. Moving down to the pilot panel, which provides a larger canvas when you need more information. It also provides a console for vehicle functions and climate control. Users' behaviors are biased towards a specific mode of interaction that fits with a certain task. This means if it's easier to accomplish something with your voice, Alexa, show me the weather.
In San Jose, 64 degrees Fahrenheit with mostly sunny skies.
Lucid UX provides a voice control with Alexa. But if it's easier to touch, then the system can do that too. Our approach to touch includes crafted experiences that just make sense for driving. And physical controls shouldn't go away just because it's trendy. But we've crafted ours with tactile quality, essential for reducing driver distraction.
Why do I need these cheap ass shoes? I don't even work.
Facial recognition aids heads up and convenience systems. Exchanging data with a Lucid ID account. The pilot panel retracts to reveal extra storage. Keeps that minimal
Men that don't even give them enough for underwear.
One of the key design patterns is application flow, which allows multiple displays to expand and contract so the driver isn't overwhelmed with options, menus, or settings. If a more sophisticated interaction is needed, a driver or passenger can pull the swipe roll to reveal more in-depth control. And it's not just about pictures.
I heard noise in this.
With both interior designers and digital designers creating elements together under one roof, we can unify each and every touch point. This means contact of a physical control creates a natural response digitally.
So just to recap, the smallest screen to the left of the steering wheel includes digital windshield wiper buttons, defrost, window locks, and headlight switches that are always present, meaning you don't have to hunt through one or more menus to find them, as is the case with many Tesla functions. Right behind the steering wheel, there's another screen which includes the speedometer, mileage, a gear shift indicator, battery range statistics, and a button that was labeled as garage during the presentation, which I'm assuming can be programmed to activate a garage door opener, which is really cool. As you can see, it's not cluttered at all. And when certain features in the driver assistance system are activated, this same screen instantly switches to a three-dimensional depiction of the Lucid Air and the other vehicles around it on the road. To the right, there's a third screen for managing navigation, music and media, and phone controls. At the bottom, aligned with the center console, there's a third larger screen where drivers can view more detailed information if they would like. For example, a driver or passenger can use this screen to display more detailed controls for music, climate control, or navigation. This screen can also retract, opening access to a storage space behind it. And one of the best things about the Lucid interior, in our opinion, is the fact that they didn't go fully digital. Based on this video, we can see that there are still physical buttons for climate controls, and there are stalks on the steering wheel. There's also a physical button in the center of the climate controls that appears to be multi-use depending on the application the driver is using at the time. During the presentation, they use this button to control the radio lock. There are also multiple physical buttons on the steering wheel. The point here is that rather than cramming everything into one screen like Tesla, the Lucid Air features multiple screens along with physical buttons. Whereas with Tesla, physical buttons are almost non-existent. Thus, we don't have to actually drive a Lucid Air to know that the layout and design of the user interface is far more functional than Tesla's. Another advantage to Lucid's user interface is that it gives you options. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto can be used in the Lucid Air. On the contrary, Tesla doesn't offer Apple CarPlay or Android Auto in any of its models. In addition to Spotify, iHeartRadio can also be controlled directly through the Google Dash. iHeartRadio is not available in Tesla vehicles. It should also be noted that the Lucid Air features the world's first integration of Dolby Atmos. Let's take a look at a few quick clips to understand how Dolby Atmos works.
Squeaky clean and not the.
Game time.
She did a good job. Not this time. Oh, shut up!
The Lucid immersive system is really about this further evolution of dimension and depth. It's not only about front to rear or
I would
left to
forgive you
right,
even if
it's
you
also
took the
up and
billion
down.
bits.
So we have the ability to position sounds, position
Zillion
tone, whether that's music or vehicle
I
signals and
have
sounds,
to forgive you
anywhere
because
in
who else is
space,
gonna
front,
forgive
back,
you?
side to side, up and down,
It's 'cause
with movement. And I think
I
that's
was the only
what
one that
makes
was
it truly
ranting at
unique,
all
because
these
we
drug
always look
dealers
at
here wanted all
audio
this
as like
shit.
it's a captive environment. You know,
They've been
short of
ranting out
having a sound booth at home or wearing a high-end set of headphones, the automobile is really like a captive sound chamber. So to be able to partner up with a technology partner like Dolby means a lot.
Dolby Atmos is an immersive experience that allows creatives, musicians, artists to do things they've never done before. With Atmos, we're giving creatives a whole new way of thinking about audio, to where they now just think about audio in space. When they hear it, it is always this holy, whoa, like you get some pretty awesome reactions. Usually one of the next questions we get from them will be, this is great, so when can I listen to this in my car?
You'll notice in the interior of the Lucid Air, there's not big polished metal speaker grills and things like everything's very much hidden away, subtle, because we want the sound to lead, not
I'm
the
going
hardware.
I'm going to the
The other
Walmart
side of that
right
goes
now.
beyond the music
And
more into the sounds
I was to say
of the car.
too,
So all of the signals,
I'm just gonna buy what I
warnings,
need and
indicators,
I have
and
10
how the
little
car
bucks I
communicates
can.
back to you.
What?
We're able to
Oh, I don't have
control the
nothing.
sounds
Sorry.
and really design that to be
I don't have no
immersive.
money.
For example,
Where?
you know, if someone in the rear seat's not wearing a seatbelt, the shine comes on, but it comes on coming from that
Anyways,
back corner. Or when you start up the car and the startup sequence comes to life, it doesn't just come to life in front of you, it comes to life
Even though you were
all
just
so you're dimensionally immersed
that's
in
my
the sounds
best
of
friend.
the vehicle
That's all he knew how to
itself.
say anyway.
So that's
See,
a big part of it.
speaking English. But if you would make him look prestigious by him just saying anyway, he felt like he knew a lot of English.
And in this room, we simulate the full in-car experience. And on
People
this
keep
side, you
hurting
see the
you
immersive audio architecture
physically,
that we create. We
mentally.
design it to be like a recording studio. It can handle hundreds of sounds and sources simultaneously.
I'm too
So
chicken.
let's talk about all the senses. Powered by Dolby Atmos,
You go
the
hang out with
20-inch
the
speaker,
killers.
surreal sound system,
Oh
and direct
my!
audio.
I'm so nervous and my jaw right here is trembling because I am so nervous.
And down, and even moving around. This
I try to suck
isn't
it
just
in,
an
but
amazing
this
sound
person
environment for entertainment, but it
freaks
helps
me
keep
out.
you
But anyways,
safe by enabling directional
oh Lord,
auditory
please.
cues for
Even if
things
you
like
suck a
alerts,
billion dicks, I would forgive you.
notifications, and
So there,
warnings.
you're forgiven.
These design details really add up for an incredibly smooth experience.
Dolby Atmos can be
I was gonna ask you
utilized
something.
not just for an amazing musical experience, but for other features such as blind
It's
spot
because people get mad at me
and from
because
the
I'm
looks
trying
of
to do the right
that
thing.
type of blind spot
And the people
monitoring
that are
with
doing the wrong
alerts
thing
that
are
come
being
from the left
pampered
or right, depending
and
on
catered
where
to
other
it,
cars are located,
treated like
seems superior to
innocent
Tesla's blind
cuties.
spot monitoring
And they're the
system,
ones that are
which we
selling
discussed
ass,
moments
selling
ago.
drugs,
As Lucid
bringing
describes it,
pimps,
their user
bringing drug
interface is
dealers.
designed for
I don't
intuitive,
do that shit.
effortless, and elegant
I'm
interaction.
trying to get rid of that shit. And I get
And from
fucking
what we've
ass.
seen so far,
And it didn't
we
feel
agree.
good either.
Of course,
So
we'll
there.
have to see how it performs in the real world, but just based on the layout and the existence of multiple physical buttons, it's superior to Tesla's user interface. One good thing about Tesla's tablet is that it includes an infotainment system. which allows passengers to watch movies or play games while the car is parked or charging. However, I argue that in this day and age, that is not necessary since almost everyone has a smartphone with 4G or 5G that can be used to watch movies, play games, or do anything else.
See, look at your own. I'm all over the place. Does anybody give a shit?
Advantage 2, better functionality. As we alluded to in the previous section, Tesla has a tendency to prioritize form over function. In other words, they're willing to implement design features that are cute but not very functional. For example,
What,
Tesla
Mavis?
recently
What's wrong?
unveiled the Tesla Model S.
What do you see wrong,
and
Mavis?
It has a yoke steering wheel. The yoke steering wheel is the ultimate example of Tesla trying too hard
Es
to
que
be
esta
different
gente vende
and
droga,
embracing
vende
being
de
more
todo,
functionality.
venden hasta la
In
cola,
fact, I'm shocked
de
to
todo
see
venden. Y nadie les
the
dice
yoke
nada.
might be
Nobody
one
says
of the
nothing to
worst
them. They're
features
selling
I've ever seen
asshole, they're
implemented
selling
in a
drugs.
vehicle. It's a bad design.
The same
and
day that I
that's
got rented,
dangerous
that
at
whore was
worst.
selling
If
drugs.
you need to make
She
a
brought drugs on
U-turn or
property
any
the
abrupt
same
or
day.
sharp turn, missing half the steering wheel could be problematic.
Because everybody's with the
If a
demon.
driver is trying
That's
to grab
why.
the yoke steering wheel in a
They
sudden
don't say
emergency when
nothing.
they've only got a split
Everybody
second
sides
to
with
react,
the demon.
drivers don't have time to fumble their hands around
I
trying to
can't.
figure out where to grab the yoke.
Who's selling ass? Who's selling?
There are endless points of contact. So
Who's selling crack? Who's selling?
Can't do that with the yoke.
They're all
There
selling
aren't
crack.
as many points
They're all
of
selling
contact.
dope.
The yoke
They're all
definitely
selling
has the potential to
asshole.
contribute to car accidents, and that's not acceptable. Tesla has
Exactly, that's not
literally
acceptable.
reinvented the wheel.
It's
But
because
it made it worse. There's no way anyone can convince me that a
they all
rectangle
sell
is the ideal
asshole.
shape
They all
for
sell
the
drugs.
apparatus used to pilot
The
a
whole
car.
brought drugs on
Another
property
example
the
of
same.
form, instead of stalks, there are capacitive buttons on the
I
yoke
just
for
showed
the
you.
turn signals and wipers.
And they get
However,
mad.
the button for the wiper is just for a
I just
single
broke my
swipe.
spoon, huh?
For full wiper
Oh, I
functions,
just broke my
drivers still have to use the
spoon.
touchscreen. Also, they've
It's
removed
not
the horn replaced
funny.
with the button.
Oh, look
Also
it.
located
It's as
on
soon
the
as
yoke.
a rock.
Utilizing
Not.
capacitive buttons on the yoke for the turn signals and the horn
Did you
is
do
a
your
bad idea
demonic
from a functionality perspective,
potion?
because the location of the buttons will always be changing based on how the
Very
yoke is
close,
being
then?
turned. With traditional stalks and car horns, the location of the turn signal and
Did
the
you go
horn
rob and
don't
steal a
change,
bank
no matter
because-
how you turn the wheel. But with buttons, the locations of the turn
Why are
signals
the,
and horn can be upside
the
down or on the
rapists
opposite side from
and
where the
everybody else is
buttons are,
catered to
depending
and
on how you
pampered
turn the
and
wheel. That would be very
nobody
confusing
says
to drivers.
jack shit to
Imagine
them.
trying to activate the turn signal while trying
You
to
know,
exit a roundabout
who are selling
with the rear
crack,
turn
going
at
to
the
bring
crease.
drugs.
Or imagine
They
trying
bring
to quickly honk the
drugs.
horn when someone
They
is
bring
not
all
paying
kinds of
attention.
things.
You would
And
have
nobody
to
says a
find that
thing.
turning point,
Nobody says a
which might
thing.
be difficult if your
And,
yoke is turned 180 degrees. And it will likely be
nobody
easier to
says a
mistakenly hit
thing.
the horn button
Oh, there's a
because the
horse.
steering wheel
Oh,
is so
horsey,
awkward
horsey.
and drivers'
I
hands
s-
are going to be all over the place trying to maneuver it, which increases
Who's
the
trying to
chances of hitting
maneuver
the
it,
horn
dude?
button by mistake. There have already been videos on YouTube of this happening.
What's
And
that?
since these are capacitive buttons, simply touching them should activate them. I do have to mention that drivers can also activate the button by using the palm of the hand to cover all the buttons on the right
It's an
side of the yoke,
abomination.
instead of trying to find the little button. However, covering the right side of the yoke could still prove challenging if the yoke is in the process of being turned and something abruptly happens, causing the driver to
As
suddenly
God is
hit
my
the
witness,
horn.
and I don't want to go to
Not really sure
hell.
why Tesla
My
went
main
the yoke route. I
purpose.
believe they
It's because I'm
that
nervous
traditional round
because the
steering
Lord
wheel
is just around the
unnecessary
corner.
because their cars will
That's
eventually
what
drive
I'm
themselves.
nervous about.
However,
Is
we are
that,
many years away from full level 5
I'm
self-driving.
nervous because nobody's
In fact,
doing what they're
Tesla's
supposed
current full
to.
self-driving software is only
Nobody's doing what they're
considered level 2
supposed to.
autonomous,
I am
which is only
nervous
admitted to the California.
because nobody's doing what
So
they're
currently,
supposed to.
Tesla's
I'm not.
full self-driving
I'm
isn't
trying
actually
to
full
get people on
self-driving.
track.
Until level
That's what I'm
5
trying to do.
is arrived,
Just to let you know, that's
still
what I'm
need
trying to
steering
do.
wheel
I don't
that's
want you to
safe
go to hell.
and the yoke handle.
I know.
Maybe they decided on the
And if
yoke
I
to
leave,
keep them
you
with
definitely
race
go to
cars.
hell.
However,
Because
race cars can't be
these
compared to
people don't
street cars.
believe in
With race
God.
cars, there aren't any
They don't
sharp
believe in
turns,
God.
U-turns, or roundabouts, or
They
parallel
don't
parking,
believe
or
in
anything
God.
like that.
I
So a
don't
yoke
want
makes
to
sense.
take you down
In the
here.
real world, however, drivers
Please
are
listen to
constantly making
me.
sharp turns that require
Please.
significant turns of the wheel.
Here.
Yokes are
Come here.
also
You-
good
here.
airplanes because yokes
Come here.
only
Let's make the
turn
piece.
30 to 45
Can you
degrees
make
in
the
a
piece?
plane, 90 degrees at the
That's
most.
a piece of
And
that.
90 degrees
No,
is
no.
extremely rare. A
Here,
car, on the
let me
other
shake your
hand,
hand.
is routinely turned up to 360
No, I'm cut.
degrees on a regular
But I'm not
basis,
gonna.
and
But see,
oftentimes up
see
to
what I'm talking
90
about?
degrees. which
These
was
people
2.5
hurt
tons
you.
of wheel.
They
The
hurt
yoke
you.
looks cool, but it's not meant for street cars.
Yeah, the
Tesla
demons.
has chosen aesthetics over usability.
And
You
it's
know what
like,
else looks cool? The valve
see?
doors on the Tesla Model X. However,
Yeah.
multiple Model X owners have reported significant problems with
Okay,
the
maybe it's not
doors.
approving of what you're
Problems
saying.
that could avoid it
You're not
because Tesla
approving
had
of what
just
you're
used
saying.
normal doors.
Maybe
I
you
won't get
approve.
into the specific problems in
She
this
doesn't
video,
approve that
but they
message.
aren't too hard
Look,
to find. You
see?
do a quick search on YouTube. And we can't forget about the emergency
It broke.
door release,
The
which
school.
looks
Plastic.
just like a regular door handle and is
No
positioned where a
kidding.
regular door
Here.
handle might be located, which leads
Is it
many
stronger?
drivers to think
You know,
we
this
use the
plastic
emergency
sometimes
door
breaks.
release to exit their
Well, don't
Tesla,
Screw
which
that
can
hard. Take
damage
smaller
or even
pieces.
shatter the window
Like
if it's
this.
used too often.
It's barely
In an effort
loosening
to be
up.
trendy and cute, Tesla has implemented
Scoop out
a bunch
smaller
of
pieces.
gimmicky and inconvenient annoyances under the guise of innovativeness.
When I get
They're
paid,
essentially fixing problems
if I go on
that
vacation,
don't
will
exist,
you?
and in the process, we're
Uh,
creating new problems. Lucid Motors, on the other hand, doesn't appear
Oh,
to have
Lucid?
any interest
That
in
means
implementing
Lucifer.
gimmicky design features strictly for the sake of looks, and they
But they
are
said
desperate
Lucid.
to be different. The Lucid Air has normal doors, a normal steering
Does it
wheel,
not?
and stalks in the steering wheel column.
That means
Based on
Lucifer,
everything
huh?
they've shown thus far, all of their design
It does.
choices put functionality first. And they're giving
I
consumers
was
the
mad
best of
because
both worlds. Because not only is their design
who
functional,
peed on
but
my
it's
stuff,
also
dude?
sleek and visually appealing. And that's where Lucid Motors' advantage lies.
Dude,
Just as long as Lucid continues to design
Lucid
their
means
vehicles with
Lucifer.
functionality as the priority, they will continue
One
to
of your
have
dogs
an
peed on my
advantage over
back.
Tesla in this regard. Unless
Excuse me, I
Tesla
peed on
rethinks their design approach in the future.
I peed on it. So I had to go.
right here on the floor?
Yeah.
Advantage number 3, world-class range that has been tested and proven.
When you gotta go, you gotta
The
go.
Lucid Air Dream Edition and the Lucid Air Grand Touring will have the most range of any EV in the world. The Lucid Air Dream Edition will have an estimated 503 miles of range, and the Lucid Air Grand Touring will have 517 miles of range. And before the Lucid haters show up and say those are fake range figures, let me preemptively correct you. A company known as FEV tested the Lucid Air Grand Touring's range in their laboratories. The tests utilized by FEV mirror EPA tests. And as most of you know,
Who's
the
in trouble?
EPA is the official federal agency that certifies range ratings for automobiles. So having a range test completed by a company like FEV is the next best thing to having official EPA testing completed. In addition to the testing completed by FEV, the Lucid Air has been tested in the real world. Kim Reynolds from Motor Trend magazine, one of the most reputable automobile publications in the US, went to Lucid headquarters in August of 2020 and participated in a real-world test of the Lucid Air's range. During the test, Kim Reynolds and a driver from Lucid spent the entire day driving around the Bay Area in California. They started around 6:30 a.m. and
They
several
used to go
hours into the test, Kim Reynolds said the only range anxiety was the fear that the car would never stop. The real-world range test finally ended at around 6:20 p.m. So it took around 12 hours for the Lucid Air's battery to run out of juice. Though it might have actually been about 10 hours since they did stop by the racetrack to have lunch and test one of the sportier versions of the Lucid Air. When it was all said and done, the car drove 490 miles, which is 95% of the FEV estimates. Keep in mind, this was real-world driving, which included hills and traffic and stopping and going and hot weather and air conditioning usage and all of the other real-world factors that have the capability to reduce range. It's also important to note that this real-world test was completed with a prototype Lucid vehicle from August of 2020. And recently, Motor Trend actually completed another range test. But this time, they drove a production version of the Lucid Air. This article is entitled 2022 Lucid Air Dream Edition R Exclusive First Drive. An absolute mic drop why Lucid Motors' all-electric first car is absolutely a threat to Tesla and other luxury car makers. In this article, which was published on August 25th, 2021, it was revealed that there will be 2 variations of the Lucid Air Dream Edition. the Dream Edition P for performance, and the Dream Edition R for range. The Dream Edition Performance will feature a powertrain optimized for speed and acceleration with 1,111 horsepower. The Dream Edition Range will deliver 933 horsepower and offer more range than the Performance Edition. In the Motor Trend article, Johnny Lieberman and Peter Rawlinson drove a pair of Dream Edition range cars from Los Angeles to San Francisco at highway speeds via Central California, and then back across the San Francisco Bay to Lucid's global headquarters. Johnny Lieberman, the journalist from Motor Trend, was driving one of the Lucids, and Peter Rawlinson was driving the other. When all was said and done, the Lucid Air that Johnny Lieberman drove got about 475 miles out of a single charge. The Lucid Air that Peter Rawlinson drove got 517 miles on a single charge. Why the difference in mileage, you might be asking? Peter Rawlinson got more miles out of his Lucid because he's much better at hypermiling. According to Wikipedia, hypermiling is driving or flying a vehicle with techniques that maximize fuel efficiency, or in this case, battery efficiency. Either way, both cars got range in the neighborhood of 500 miles, which is more than the range of the 2021 Tesla Model S long range, which has a rating of 405 miles according to the EPA. The testing completed by FEV and Motor Trend irrefutably proves that Lucid's range claims are absolutely real. No other EV in the world has range like this, including Tesla. And there's no other EV on the horizon that will exceed the range of the Lucid Air. The Tesla Model S Plaid Plus was supposed to have range of 520 miles. However, Tesla recently announced that the Plaid Plus has been officially canceled, which means Lucid will maintain the #1 spot for range. Advantage number 4, bi-directional charging. Lucid vehicles support bi-directional charging. That means the Lucid Air will be capable of charging other EVs that have run out of juice, and it will also be capable of charging people's homes. And assuming that Lucid Air is actually released in the second half of 2021, and assuming it gets released before the Ford F-150, the Lucid Air will be the first bi-directional vehicle on the market. And bi-directionality is a huge advantage for Lucid. When someone loses power in their home, having a car in the garage that is capable of charging their house is an amazing feature and gives peace of mind that most other automobiles, including Tesla, do not provide. This is particularly relevant considering the 2021 Texas power crisis, during which up to 5 million people were without power for several days. As noted by the Motley Fool, Tesla vehicles are technically capable of bi-directionality. Hackers and thinkers have hooked up Teslas to power a home. However, Tesla has chosen not to officially support bidirectionality for some unknown reason. In fact, using a Tesla as a stationary power source will explicitly void the vehicle's warranty. It's possible that Tesla prefers people to separately find their power laws instead. Unless Tesla one day officially supports bidirectionality, this will continue to be an advantage for Lucid.
I'll be fine.
I don't want to lose you.
I'm not going anywhere.
I don't want to lose your marriage.
Well, then chill out.
I want to remarry you.
Okay, let me chill out.
Advantage number 5, 900-volt architecture.
I'm going to be right out here. I'm going to play with this and check out my batteries and clean up the shed some.
However, generally speaking,
that's it. That's all I'm going to be doing. Nope, she's not even here.
Of charging faster than Tesla vehicles because Lucid utilizes second-generation 900-volt architecture, compared to Tesla, which uses first-generation 400-volt architecture. Because of its 900-volt architecture, the Lucid Air will be the fastest charging electric vehicle ever offered, with the capability to charge at rates of up to 20 miles per minute. For owners charging their Lucid Air in real-world conditions on the road, that can translate into 300 miles of range for 20 minutes of charging.
I had this better in Houston. I came out here to be with you.
Modern EVs
but you're more
are
important.
migrating to ultra-high voltage architectures, such as Porsche at 800 volts and Lucid at 900 volts. Tesla adopted the slower 400-volt architecture as a consequence of the technology that was available when the company was getting started. The Lucid Air is capable of 350 kilowatt fast charging, while Tesla vehicles are capable of 250 kilowatt fast charging, but only at their V3 supercharger. Tesla's V1 and V2 chargers only have a maximum output of 150 kilowatts. Will Tesla upgrade to an 800 or 900 V architecture? Time will tell. But until then, Lucid holds a clear advantage when it comes to charging speeds.
How many you don't let me hang out? No, but sorry.
Advantage number 6. No proprietary
I'm not allowed
charging network. Lucid
I'm in the
has
house
absolutely no plans to build its own proprietary charging network like Tesla did.
He
Now,
raises hell every
this
time
could be viewed as either an advantage or a disadvantage, depending on your perspective. In my opinion, it's both an advantage for Lucid and an advantage for Tesla. From Tesla's perspective, the supercharger network is one of their greatest assets. And now that they are considering opening it up to non-Tesla vehicles, it could generate billions of dollars in revenue, which is great for Tesla investors. But deciding not to build a proprietary charging network is also an advantage for Lucid. In fact, it's a major advantage. Tesla has spent several $billions building out its supercharging network. In fact, an analyst from UBS estimates that it will cost Tesla around $8 billion to make their superchargers just as commonplace as gas stations. And for all we know, Tesla could have already spent this amount or more building out its supercharger network. So in essence, Lucid Motors is saving several $1 billion, somewhere around $8 billion or maybe even more, by choosing not to build a proprietary charging network. That's a humongous amount of capital that Lucid will be able to use towards new manufacturing plants, battery technology, prototypes, advertising, and a ton of R&D to make their product better, and a variety of other value-added expenditures. I can't overemphasize what a major advantage it is to have that money available to Lucid Motors for purposes other than building a charging network. It doesn't make any sense at all for Lucid to build their own charging network when they can simply leverage the charging network that has already been built by Electrify America. And that's exactly what Lucid is doing. They will offer anyone who purchases one of their vehicles 3 years of unlimited free charging through Electrify America. I think building a charging network is such a mistake that I actually would not invest in Lucid if they announced that they were building it. Don't get me wrong, I understand why Tesla did it. As the first mass market EV company ever, they pretty much had no choice. There was no charging network at the time, so they had to build one. And they should be commended for it because the supercharger network is amazing and it gives Tesla owners a ton of reassurance and greatly reduces range anxiety. The range anxiety shouldn't be an issue for Lucid owners either. That's because the vast majority of EV charging takes place at home in people's garages while they sleep at night. And for those interested in charging away from home, Electrify America has tons of charging stations throughout the United States. Not as many as Tesla, but they are building more and more each day, and many experts say they will eventually catch up. And because Lucid vehicles have such an amazing range, their cars won't need to be charged that often anyway. However, if anyone is trying to choose between a Tesla and a Lucid, I would suggest looking at plugshare.com to find out the location of Tesla superchargers versus the location of Electrify America chargers to see which best suits your needs, especially if you frequently like to take long road trips. That being said, it's also important to note that Lucid vehicles will be capable of charging at ChargePoint, EVgo, Blink, and other types of charging stations besides just Electrify America. And as previously mentioned, Tesla may open up their own charging stations, which means Lucid owners could use Tesla's charging stations as well. So when you add all those charging networks together and you consider the amazing range of Lucid vehicles, Lucid simply does not need their own charging network. In fact, it doesn't make sense for any other EV maker besides Tesla to build a proprietary charging network.
Which is a bad influence.
Because it's something
I'm feeling a bad reputational person. I want.
Advantage number 7. Focus on quality and the second mover advantage. It's no secret that Tesla vehicles are notorious for having build quality issues, such as bumpers falling off cars while driving, paint defects, panel gaps, water leaks, defective trim, issues with doors and door locks, and the list goes on and on and on. Well, one potential advantage that Lucid may have over Tesla is Lucid's obsession with quality. And I stress the word potential because we really don't know how well put together Lucid's cars will be until consumers actually have been driving. However, what we can say definitively is that Lucid has given every indication that build quality is one of their top priorities. In this interview with Bloomberg, Lucid CEO Peter Rawlinson states that they delayed production of the Lucid Air because they wanted to spend more time focusing on making sure the car's quality was top notch.
Delayed production until the second half of 2021. You said it would deliveries of Lucid Air would start this spring. What's the plan?
Well, I was pushing like crazy for spring. And when we met with the church repentance team, I took the Anthony car, Alan drove the car, loved it, the very first car for production. We had a meeting of partners with experience from Boeing, with Michael Klein and myself. We all got done so far, and we recognized that, you know,
I don't remember you when you were
what's really important here is to get the quality.
No, I'll do everything I can.
It's perfect. To customer. And so they said, look,
you deserve to be paid.
Don't go to the artificial construction specific needs.
No,
it goes on into the site.
I know.
The capital, pull the trigger, and then you tell me what's wrong.
Anyways,
to get it right. We know you want to make it perfect. This is a lot deal. We're making a luxury car. And you know,
nobody else knows it. And the people that do it, that are drug dealers and stuff, they don't get in trouble. Nobody gets mad at them.
You know, every car is such a fun experience.
They get away with all kinds of things.
Issues. The market is not
this person.
This is a very different.
Oh, it's a drug dealer. She brings drugs in. Somebody was yelling. Somebody was yelling at him.
So,
well, that's like.
We're chasing down a number of suppliers. Remember, we have 250.
Oh.
And that whole infrastructure.
Don't yell at all this. So like, really? There was somebody yelling at a guy.
That's kind of the route of just pushing it out of the route into the second half.
Yeah, on RC pre-production vehicles, checking wind noise, we're checking steering, braking, handling, road noise, drivetrain noise, just to check the overall refinement of the vehicle. And we're doing that against our current market benchmark.
Somebody was in trouble sometime last night. I heard security when someone was yelling. I'm just tired out.
It's nice to know where we rank against a competitor, give ourselves a really honest assessment of ourselves, particularly since we're this close to production, going for the platinum experience.
They should have read all these people.
When you're working through
and
you're looking at 1,000,001 different items that need a little bit of tweaking, or some are ready, some a little bit more work, you sometimes lose the overview of where you actually are. So it's driving recalibration, because you're driving car with all your sensors and you can feel how mature it is.
The biggest impact to sustainability is building it right the first time. My name is Art Schloud, Director of Manufacturing for General Assembly.
Nobody fears God, because obviously I'm the only one that sorry, no. Obviously, I'm the only one that
and end of line. We do have some robots and we do have automation, but this vehicle is put together.
Obviously.
And it takes real craftsmanship.
Oh my God.
Quality control is at the end of General Assembly. in order to we are sending product. My name is Federico Tapia, and I'm the head of manufacturing quality. This design is complex, not only the
I'm the only one that
so we need to make sure that the car we are
cares about the Lord and that he's catered to. Nobody else does even care. Instead of like me for everything. That's how I was upset.
We are evaluating 11 subsystems.
I thought that people would be happy there.
Exterior, chassis. My name is Hector Ascon, and I am the vehicle evaluation manager. We take the car and make sure that the car is free from defects. So we inspect the whole vehicle, 100% of them.
I thought it
attributes, and then this vehicle is shipped. Once everybody is agreed that the car is okay, we take it to logistics. They are in charge of taking the unit to the shipping yard.
You want to find any and every problem that could possibly occur on a vehicle before it gets into the hands of the customers. So that means testing in all kinds of different scenarios, everything from the coldest temperatures all the way up to the hottest temperatures.
In this wrap-up phase, we're using climate chambers, like the one right behind me. And we are cold soaking the vehicles overnight down to minus 40 degrees centigrade.
We soak the cars, every single molecule in the car gets down to that temperature. So you get to that baseline. And that has all kinds of different impacts on the vehicle. Lubricants change viscosity, they change their properties at different temperatures. The batteries react differently at different temperatures. Their ability to provide power, their ability to accept power when you're charging.
We're going to test the heat up of the interior of the vehicle to see how quickly can we de-ice the windshields, defog the interior, and make the cabin cozy.
So you need to test all of these things to understand what the limitations of the different aspects of the vehicle are, and then optimize them.
What we're doing today is testing those limits. So we're going to make sure that the car is starting reliably, starting out every time. So it's like the car, that's the key file, or using the phone to get in the car. It's going to do it the same way it would when it's nice and sunny in California, or it's like dead of winter in Minnesota.
What I really liked was the quietness in the cabin despite cold temperatures. Typically, interior components get noisier as it gets colder, and that was a great experience to see how quiet the interior stayed.
Our customers don't expect 80%, they expect 99.99%. And the difference between 80% to that 99.99% level is really what defines the product, it defines the car company. That's why everybody is working so hard. One team, one goal, we're out to produce the perfect vehicle.
That's what it's called, rising, because
so I think this
people are selling drugs.
Quality is really there. It's absolutely fabulous. That's production ready. But some of these little switches, we need to play with just the
they were selling drugs.
The detailed spring stiffness.
They were selling cocaine.
Just to give them that Swiss watch quality.
They were selling all kinds of bad things. So
I'm just checking for visibility here. This dense urban environment is pretty good. We only have the mirrors for enhanced visibility.
So
we're getting a blind spot between the mirror.
They were selling drugs.
And we made a big change quite late. Drug supply and lights.
They were selling cocaine
and the but man, it was worth it. Now it's paid dividends. It's facing up to these issues and lifting them in the above.
They come here and sell drugs.
As much as sports cars, so they're terribly tested.
In the driveway, and somebody was screaming last night.
Single wheel inputs, great body control. And you get this left-right,
horrific scream, it was pretty loud.
Jitter inputs that can really create shake. You get exceptional body
systems. You always pass out when that happened. It was a loud scream.
We need to work on the software. Just to that modulation of the toilet.
Into it right away.
This point, we can improve it now. It's a special tuning team that does fantastic job. I noticed that around the 0 up to 2 miles an hour, you need to finesse that whole feedback loop from accelerated to
not? Every single night will be so scream.
minimalist simplicity of the interior, it was really important that
Everyone
every
could.
detail had this feeling of quality and craftsmanship and care. And that's all about how you apply the materials to particular surfaces. It's important that the metal look and feel like metal, and how it interacts with the wood feels quality, feels intrinsically valuable. And it's that combination that really gives you that feeling of high craftsmanship.
I've always been drawn to sort of the beauty of objects and what makes something remarkable. The quality of the build. It's not just the materials themselves, but really how they all come together. That's been a very important philosophy of how we work. What makes something good design is creating with passion, creating with care, the fit and finishes, and attention to details. We're literally measuring the pitch of the stick, the weight of the thread, the suppleness of the leather, how deep is the logo debossed into the metal, how it feels to run your hand along the wood, that it actually feels like wood. We're always looking at these little minute details, things that people probably don't even really think about.
If you want to build a luxury vehicle without quality, there is no way. You need quality in your processes, in your design, in your product, everything you do. And so we're starting the factory with a quality-driven method. We will not hit numbers because we want to hit numbers. That doesn't make sense in a luxury. We will hit quality.
That's what I want to do.
And move forward. And once we hit that, and we can
You don't stop.
that's the path. So we want to move forward and make a community of lucid fans who are super convinced of our products,
You keep bringing
of our
drugs
story, of our culture,
and all kinds of things.
of what we believe is important for our planet and for our
Wow. Hello.
Now, don't get me wrong. I understand that these are essentially promotional videos,
What's wrong,
and of
baby?
course, it's in Lucid's best interest
Why
to make
you
everything
upset?
seem perfect and rosy. However, taking a less pessimistic view,
What's wrong,
I
baby? Come
believe
here.
these videos
Why you
are a
upset,
true
baby?
representation of what the company is doing from a quality control
We're selling
perspective.
drugs out
And
there.
from the looks of it, they are trying to do whatever it takes to ensure a
Better
quality
not be
product.
selling
In one of
drugs.
the clips you
Better
just
not be
saw,
picking
Peter
guns.
Rose indicated he wanted to perfect the resistance of the detent springs and the physical climate control buttons. Now, that's a level of granular attention to detail that we believe translates to a well-built automobile. We also believe Lucid has a second mover advantage that will further motivate the company to maintain the highest levels of quality. Most of you know that the term first mover advantage denotes the fact that being the first company in a particular industry has particular advantages. Tesla was the first major company to mass produce EVs, and as a result, they have certain advantages over companies
Nobody
who
should
entered
be
the EV space
59 or
after
selling
them.
buttholes.
However, being the second or third company in a particular industry also has advantages. Specifically in the case of Lucid, they have the opportunity to learn from Tesla's mistakes. Obviously, the management team
My
at Lucid
favorite.
Motors is well aware of the quality control issues that have plagued Tesla. And I have no doubts that those issues are one of the primary reasons Lucid will go out of their way to avoid developing a similarly negative reputation as it relates to build quality. In fact, Lucid would be foolish not to use quality as one of the primary selling points for their cars, especially when they know the king of EVs, Tesla, is not known for quality. Though we believe Lucid's build quality will be better than Tesla's, we can't 100% confirm it until their cars are released to car reviewers and consumers. So until then, we're only calling this a potential or likely advantage.
Nobody should be selling buttholes.
Advantage number 8. No CapEx intensive side
Nobody should be
businesses.
selling
Unlike
buttholes.
Tesla, Lucid Motors
Oh,
and their management team, including the CEO, is strictly focused on making
Nobody.
In fact,
Nobody.
they're devoting all of their attention to essentially two automobiles, the Lucid Air and the Gravity SUV. Now, granted, there are several versions of the Lucid Air sedan, but they're all built on essentially
Nobody
the
should
same
be selling
drivetrain,
ass.
chassis, and body style,
Nobody
with
should be
some
selling
slight
buttholes.
variations between each model. That means all 2,000 employees at Lucid Motors, from the management team down to individuals working in the factories, are hyper-focusing all of their expertise, intelligence, and talent towards perfecting the company's EVs, along with the energy storage system they plan on eventually selling. So the important point here is that every employee and every dollar of capital Lucid has will be devoted to cars and energy storage systems.
She scares me because she has a murder
the energy
warrant.
storage business is a natural byproduct of the EV
That's
business.
why.
In other words, manufacturing energy storage systems
She's a
is not a
murderer.
vast departure from Lucid's core business model. Tesla, on the other hand, has multiple business ventures that demand not only billions in investment dollars, but that also demand the time, energy, and attention of the company's employees and executive team, from the CEO down to individual employees. And Tesla isn't taking baby steps. They dive head first, with no hesitation, into extremely CapEx expensive ventures that have not yet paid off in the same way that Tesla EVs have. SpaceX, Neuralink, the Boring Company, Starlink, and Solar Cityport, also known as Tesla Energy, just to name a few. These business lines have countless staff and billions of capital. Capital that Tesla can't really afford to tie up. Because keep in mind, people often forget that Tesla is still a pretty young company. It's not like they're Apple with $195 billion in cash just sitting around. If they were in Apple's position,
They should toss them in the prison, the federal prison system.
Towards all these business ventures, but they're not. They're just now starting to
Harlan
turn
Savage,
consistent profits, and I will argue
Russell
that their
should all be
profits are still at a very precarious stage.
and placed in
Now,
federal
some
prison
people
for
believe
life.
Tesla's multiple business lines actually give them an advantage, and
Because
that's definitely an argument that can be made. Because if all of these side businesses do
They've
become
all
successful, they will contribute huge profits to Tesla and the shareholders.
contribute
And I would agree with that argument if
to
I thought these ventures had the potential to be successful. But other than
young
Tesla
people
Insurance and the
have the
energy
potential
storage
to be
division,
successful.
I'm not convinced that these various business lines will be profitable. I've completed a realistic, critical analysis of these various subsidiary companies
They're all a bunch
and
of
refuse to
scavengers.
allow bias to influence my
Cool.
opinion of their potential success. I won't get into all the details in this video, but there are a multitude of reasons I'm skeptical of
demonic.
SolarCity, SpaceX, Neuralink, and the other Tesla side ventures actually being
They're
profitable in the
green,
foreseeable
they're
future.
endeavor.
But to be honest, it's not all about whether or not all of Tesla business lines will be successful. For me, it's about
Furthermore,
which company has the advantage from the perspective of an
they
investor.
sell drugs,
And as an
they bring
investor, I feel
prostitutes,
I'm better off
they
focusing
bring
my
all
money on
kinds
a
of
company that
things.
is trading at $20-something per share, has tons of upside potential, and that is focusing on one or two
Now you're
business
tired
lines
of it.
rather than investing money
Like
into a
the
company that is
politician
trading in the
and I
500s,
have
has
said.
an insane PE, and that is investing billions into business lines that are unrelated to the core business that may or may not be successful. The point is, the fact that Lucid is laser beam focused gives me more confidence as an investor. And from that perspective, Lucid has the advantage, even though they are much smaller